So then this is the first session of your Advanced Level Chemistry 2024 batch. Okay, so I'm going to start the session from here. Please get your notebook and write Advanced Level Chemistry. Advanced Level Chemistry in your notebook. You should have two books, generally 200 pages for your notebook, 160 pages for your questions book. There should be two books because in the notebook, we're writing only the notes, summarized notes, but in the questions book, we are doing the past papers, term test papers, and some model paper questions. Is it clear? Do not mix up. And we are not filling any tubes. We are not filling any spaces in tubes. That's not my method. So then definitely I'll be using the resource book and I'm giving the note in a brief manner to you, which will be very useful to you the day before the exam, the day before the term test, and then for your whole life, right? Because you have a textbook in A-levels called resource book. I'm not writing the resource book again and again. Generally, I'm writing a very brief note, but it is very, very useful. Just believe my note until you are adapting to our classes. Otherwise, definitely you will feel this note is not sufficient. This note is not sufficient. I need a bulky note. I need a big note. So there's a note like that. That is called resource book. Please refer it and then just refer my note. That is the short note of your resource book. That's my advice to you, right? Yes. Advanced level chemistry in your note. Under that, right? We have to study. Please write at the same time because this is a live class. We have to study 14 different units. We have to study 14 different units. 14 different units under 4 categories. We have to study 14 different units under 4 different categories. So then I'm going to introduce the lessons. That's the first thing that I have to do in chemistry. Okay. I'm going to introduce the lessons. Right. Under advanced level chemistry, we have to study 14 different units under 4 categories. Right? Under 4 categories, you can just write your idea about my sentence. No need to write the exact word, right? Because this is chemistry. Right. So then, do you know, in our advanced level chemistry course, we have 14 different chapters. Again, for the session, okay, generally, I'm using some parts from Sinhala language also because it's your mother tongue for most of the students, right? So then, generally in our classes, we are discussing about 14 different units according to your resource book and syllabus. So we can categorize those 14 different units under 4 sections, right? 14 different units under 4 sections. So before writing the categories, right? We have 4 categories. Here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 categories. Before those categories, you know, your subject combined maths. It is also a combination of 2 subjects. Do you know that? I'm trying to give some idea about your other subjects also. Just taking 2 minutes. Combined maths is a combination of 2 subjects. What are those? Because there are some students, they don't know about that. Combined maths is the combination of 2 subjects called applied maths and pure maths. And when you learn biology, it is a combination of 2 subjects, that is botany and zoology. If your parents or your brothers or sisters, they have done their A-levels before 2000 A-level, definitely they have done 4 subjects, not biology, botany and zoology, not combined maths, applied and pure. Still, in my other area, they don't have combined maths classes. They have 2 classes for maths, pure maths and applied maths. Right? So likewise, in chemistry also, we have 4 sections. Number 1, general chemistry. Okay. No need to write this way. General chemistry. Then number 2, it is physical chemistry. And number three, it is inorganic chemistry. Inorganic chemistry. And number four, it is organic chemistry. Organic chemistry. ඊට අපි chemistry ඉගෙන ගන්නකොට යාළුවෙක් එහෙම අහනවානේ දැන් මොකද්ද chemistry වල කරන පාඩම කියන්නේ ඒක තාත්තා හරි අම්මා හරි අහනවනේ so එතකොට අපි පාඩමේ නම කියන්නේ generally we don't tell the name of the lesson right so as a student who is doing chemistry definitely we are mentioning currently we are doing inorganic chemistry now in our class we have started organic chemistry yes last week we have done general chemistry likewise you are saying first of all, just get to know the language here, right? We don't say we do atomic structure, unit one. Okay. Not like that. This is the language. So in chemistry, we say general chemistry, physical chemistry, inorganic chemistry, and organic chemistry. These are the four pillars in chemistry, right? These are the four pillars in chemistry. So then let's categorize those 14 units and these four pillars, right? So now I'm going to show the 14 different units there. So we can get the idea. Right. So these are the units, right? Now we can see the units in your screen. There are 14 units, right? 14 units. So then we're going to categorize those 14 units under these four columns. Right? Under these four columns, the first one is atomic structure. The second one is structure and bonding, right? So you can see the number of periods also in the right hand side. Right? Atomic structure and structure and bonding. This one. So just see this one. Atomic structure is the first unit, structure and bonding is the second unit, and here the number of periods, right? Okay, so then what do you think? That part belongs to which category? Is it general, physical, inorganic, or organic? So general chemistry means, generally when your friend is asking currently what you are doing, when you are asking about chemistry, if a person is generally explaining about chemistry, he or she will tell about molecules, bonds, atoms, neutrons, protons, nucleus. Right? That is the basis of chemistry. So when you are learning the basis of chemistry related to the molecules, atoms, molar mass, bonds, structures, right? That is called general chemistry. So definitely we are categorizing general chemistry. So under that we write unit 1 and unit 2, right? Unit 1 and unit 2. What is unit 1? Atomic structure, right? Atomic structure is the unit 1, and then second one is structure and bonding. So at your home you can write the name of the unit, right? Because I'll be adding a photo of that chapter to your WhatsApp group after this session, so then you can write the name, but now we just write only the unit, right? So first of all, place 4 sections like this in your notebook at the beginning. So then separate under general chemistry, write unit 1 and unit 2. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask via Zoom chat. Okay, start it. Under general chemistry, put these two. Unit 1, unit 2. Right. Right. So under general chemistry, we have categorized that. So then for the this one, what about physical chemistry? Right? Physical chemistry. So then we are going to write the chapters which is related to physical chemistry. So physical chemistry means the chemistry based on calculations, right? So if you are learning maths, that is called physical science. If you are learning biology, that is called biological science. So then generally the term physical means it is related to the calculation side, right? I mean the chemistry related to the calculations, depending on certain formulas, applications, graphs, we are getting data and we are analyzing them, right? Okay. So how many lessons are there? Our lesson unit 3, right? I'll screen share and show you. Our lesson unit 3 here, that is chemical calculations. So then that is categorized under physical chemistry, right? When you consider chemical calculations, we can get it as a physical chemistry lesson. And then gaseous state of matter means gas laws, right? Gaseous state of matter means gas laws. It is also physical chemistry. Then related to gases, we are going to discuss the chemistry here, right? You know, there are 3 states: solid, liquid, and gas. But we are discussing only about the gaseous state because it is a bit complex, right? So we'll be discussing about the rules. And then energetics is also the chemistry related to energy changes, okay? Enthalpy changes, heat changes, right? Chemistry related to. That means now, you know, we can mix species, right? I mean, we can get an acid like this and we can mix a base with that. After acid එකක් අරගෙන base එකක් mix කරන්න. So then when we are mixing acid and base, you know, it's a neutralization reaction. It will release the heat. It will release the heat. So then that released heat you can measure using a thermometer. I mean the heat change you can measure using a thermometer. Then we can calculate the amount of heat absorbed, amount of heat released using H equal to Nc theta equation. So there, so in that kind of things we are discussing under energetics lesson. So always it is a calculations based lesson. So then I will introduce the physical chemistry here. So then what are the chapters you should write? That is unit 3 here. Chemical calculations. I'll add a clear photo of that to your WhatsApp group, right? So no need to worry, just write the chapters. If you want, you can keep a small space to write the topic, right? So then unit 4, gaseous state of matter. Gaseous state of matter. So, so actually here there's no connection issue. So then if you have, I mean, it depends on the area that you are joining here, but if you can just hear well, right, it's okay. But I don't think that voice is there. The board, is it for everyone? I mean, can you see the board clearly? Okay, ටිකක් නම් බ්ලර් වුණාට නම් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ නේද? පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න. So we'll be getting some network issues depending on the location and all the other stuff. Like in my area also there are something. It is not clear. Is that? Just wait, I'll check it. Right. I'll try to make it clear. So I can screen share and write here, but I'm generally using the board. But I have the whiteboard and all the other stuff here, and I can write it. So then, just give me 1 minute. So you should write the topics here under the physical chemistry. Under the physical chemistry part, you should write unit 3, unit 4, and unit 5. This way. Just write only that 3. Right, okay, we're going to continue. So then we have written unit 3, unit 4, unit 5. I mean, if there's anything, any issue with the board, sometimes I'm adding a screenshot of the board to your WhatsApp group. There are some things like that. Group photo because of these network issues, we can't maintain it, but you can hear me, right? And then most of the times I'm screen sharing to write some things. I mean, when there are sentences, when there are notes, I mean, when there are laws available, you're going to write some bulky notes copying from the board because I'm screen sharing and highlighting them, so then you can directly write it. So then just listen, right? So then we are trying to make it perfect, but depending on the conditions at this time. So you know the network traffic is really high. It depends, right? However, I'm trying to make it okay this way. Unit 3, unit 4 we have written, and physical chemistry here also you should write unit 5. Unit 5 we have to write. Right. Unit 5, that is energetics. And then when we are moving to unit 6, right? Unit 6, that is chemistry of SPD block elements, right? Chemistry of SPD block elements. Actually, this SPD block elements means in the periodic table, I mean your O-level period table, we have just few elements, like 20 elements. But in the A-level period table, we have 4 blocks: S block, P block, D block, and F block. So those blocks are based on the electronic configuration. I mean, when you are filling electrons in your O levels, you have learned those electrons are filled to main energy levels. But in A levels, we are just moving furthermore. I mean, in advance, those main energy levels are separated to sub energy levels. Right? Main energy levels are furthermore separated to sub energy levels. So then we have 4 sub energy levels called S, P, D, and F. So in this stage, we can't explain what are these sub-energy levels, but you should understand when the final electron is filled to S subshell, that is categorized under S block, under the period table. Right? When the final electron is filled to P subshell, it is categorized under the P block. And then D and F is also just the same. So this is just about the elements. We are learning about the elements. Then which category is that? Is it general chemistry, physical, inorganic, or organic? The chemistry of SPD block elements means learning about the periodic table. Right? I'll share a photo of the periodic table so then you can get a certain idea about that also. Just give me 1 minute. Right, okay. Now this is the period table. Right? Here's the period table. So in this A-level period table, I think in your O-levels you have this learned 20 elements. So if I'm explaining about your O-level part, here you have learned hydrogen, and then helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, then sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium, and calcium. That's only 20 elements. But in A levels, you can see we are starting with 21: scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium. Likewise, we have no elements. So I told these elements. Now, if you get sodium, the final electron, sodium's electronic configuration is 11. So then we can write it as 281. So this is your final electron. In A levels, we are filling this final electron to S subshell. S subshells. Then sodium is categorized under S block. So this is called S block elements. This part is called P block elements, here to here. And then this part is called D block elements. And here F block elements is missing. Actually, here we have another 28 element which belongs to F block. So in A levels, we have to learn only 54 elements. 54 elements. It is better to study the period table downwards the group like this. Period table එක අපි A levels වලදී study කරන්නේ downwards the group. Is it clear? We study the period table downwards the group. It will not give any improvement when you are studying the period table across the period. Right? But in A level paper for MCQ and the essay paper, they will be giving the period table without any issue. But if you want to get some idea about an element, always you have to refer the period table before. So then, because of that, it is better to study the elements downwards the group. Beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, radium. That's group 2. And if you get group 5, nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth. Likewise, you have to study. Right? So when you are learning unit 6, you can just get some idea about that. Okay. So I'm categorizing unit 6 under which column? Is it inorganic chemistry or organic chemistry? That's your idea. What is organic chemistry? And what is inorganic chemistry? What is the difference between this? I'm going to explain that thing. So then this is chemistry, right? So then what do you understand by organic chemistry? Organisms. From organisms term, that organic chemistry word is there. Right? So then under organic chemistry, we are learning about carbon and hydrogen. I mean, compounds related to carbon and hydrogen. But we don't say that one as carbonic chemistry. I mean, for organic chemistry, we don't say carbonic chemistry, right? So here I have written organic chemistry. So then we don't say that one as carbonic chemistry. So then why is it? Because learning about carbon and hydrogen means just like learning about the organisms. Learning about carbon and hydrogen means just like learning about the organism. Is it there? So when we are learning about ourselves, we have to learn about our basic elements, which is carbon and hydrogen. So then that is called learning about organisms. That is called organic chemistry. Again, carbon, hydrogen ගැන ඉගෙන ගන්න එකට අපි කියනවා organic chemistry. Right? So then organic chemistry means compounds related to carbon, hydrogen, and then those compounds can be added with another element source. But the basis is carbon and hydrogen. You know, there was an issue recently, organic fertilizer. So if it's an organic fertilizer, definitely in that fertilizer, there should be carbon and hydrogen, right? Basically. And then we can get some advanced idea, but that is the basic. So then under inorganic chemistry, we have to learn the compounds, which is just apart from carbon and hydrogen. Then carbon can connect with oxygen and carbon can connect with nitrogen or sulfur, phosphorus, beryllium, barium, all the other elements. So then just tell me, SPD block elements, learning about periodic table, it belongs to which category? Inorganic or organic? Inorganic or organic? Yes, we need some ideas. So then because I have to take part, I have to give you an active participation here. What do you think? Huda, can send some idea? Yes? Right, you have received many more answers. That's great. Right. So that is inorganic chemistry. Okay, you have taken the idea. So then when I'm asking some questions, I mean especially some module questions, I'll be giving the names of you also when you're giving the answer at once. Okay, I mean muling answers then I give namat keno time correct questions. But in these ones, it is very important to give your answer. Even if it's correct or incorrect, just you can think and give the answer. That's inorganic chemistry. So this is unit 6. Unit 6, chemistry of SPD block elements. Don't think about the note because at the end of the session also, I'm adding a clear note related to the today's session to your WhatsApp group. Right? I mean, other note WhatsApp group clear photos add you can just cover up. But it is better to be in the live session because you can answer my questions, you can just listen well, and you can just take part to the lesson. Right? Okay. I'll give some question. Right? Carbon dioxide and methane. Which one is organic? Which one is inorganic? Carbon dioxide and methane. Which one is organic compound? Just send the answer of that. How the organic? Yes, very good. I've received answers. Okay, after first answer ka duna ke nai nama terak mam kiyannan. Mazhar, right? Okay, I've pronounced your name correctly, right? Okay. So then that is the correct answer. Methane is the organic compound. Then which one is inorganic? Yes. Answers you know nama hොයාගන්න බැරි වෙන විදියට මේ right nisula right okay CO2 is inorganic. CO2 is inorganic, right? Likewise you can understand about some and then you can get a certain idea about that. SO2, is it organic or inorganic? SO2, sulfur dioxide, it's a gas, right? So that definitely SO2 is a inorganic compound. Inorganic compound. So shall I give a challenge? C6H12O6. C6H12O6. Is it organic compound or inorganic compound? This one. How do you understand about that? C6H12O6. Yes. Okay. Very good. This is an organic compound, not an inorganic compound. So then don't by heart organic compounds means carbon and hydrogen. I told carbon and hydrogen connected with the other species, other elements. Carbon and hydrogen is compulsory, right? Carbon and hydrogen is compulsory. So then this is an organic compound. This glucose, right? Like us. So then we can't sort out certain compounds 100% organic and inorganic, right? That's not a classification. Just I want to give some idea what is organic chemistry and what is inorganic, right? Okay, for that, unit 6 under inorganic chemistry, then so that, you know, this is oxygen containing organic compound. So let me make it about oxygen containing organic compound. So when you consider this one, right? Right here, okay. CH3 NH2. CH3 NH2. So if this is oxygen containing organic compound, what is this? For that, how to name this? There's a lesson for this in our A-level chemistry. Then this should be, right? Yes, I know you are typing. So then this is right. Yes, nitrogen containing organic compounds. Right? Nitrogen containing organic compounds. Very good. Right? So really happy about your active participation. So then always keep it until your A-level exam. Right? You can ask questions from me also. Right? So then that classification is correct. Right? So then we have to put our lessons under that classification. You know, now you can see my lessons here. So you can see the lessons here. That is, you can see unit 7, right? Basic concepts of organic chemistry. Unit 8, hydrocarbons and halohydrocarbons. Oxygen containing organic compounds. Nitrogen containing organic compounds. Then when you consider unit 7 to unit 10, for the units 7, 8, 9, 10, can you see the number of periods? These are the number of periods allocated for that, right? So then it is nearly periods 17, 46 plus 46 plus 14, it is nearly 123 periods, right? 123 periods this allocated for what is this section? That is organic chemistry, right? I mean, section organic chemistry. So you can categorize under organic chemistry, which is unit 7 to 10. I can write unit 7, 8, 9, and 10. Sorry, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And write like that. See there? Yes. 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's organic chemistry. Yes. Now in our syllabus we have 14 units. From those 14 units, already we have classified 10 units under 4 different categories. What are those? General, physical, inorganic, and organic. General, physical, inorganic, and organic. Clear? Right, okay. So what is unit 11? I'm moving to unit 11. Now we can see unit 11 here. That is chemical kinetics, and then unit 12 equilibrium, unit 13 electrochemistry. So in chemical kinetics, what is the section? Right? Chemical kinetics means generally the rate of a reaction. You know, magnesium. If you're adding a piece of magnesium to water, it doesn't react with cool water. But when we warm the solution, magnesium will react with that solution because we have increased the temperature, we have increased the thermal energy of this solution. Right? So then what is the factor there? We have increased the kinetic energy. So then when we are considering the rate of a reaction, the rate of a reaction means amount of the reaction happened at a unit period of time, at a given period of time. You are doing a production, you are producing ammonia. So when you are producing ammonia, this thing you have produced 100 grams of ammonia. 100 grams of ammonia, if you are measuring it in grams, 100 grams of ammonia, this in 5 minutes. If you want to increase your rate, you have to produce 100 grams of ammonia within a less period of time. Right? Within a less period of time. That is called the production of ammonia. That is called the rate of reaction. So then, what do you think? Chemical kinetics, is it a physical lesson or is it an inorganic lesson or an organic lesson? It is based on great calculations. Definitely, it is physical chemistry. Right? So you can categorize another number. Right? You can see my face, you can see my hand. If it is blurred or if it is, not clear, you can just listen well and you can write it. Right? Unit 6, sorry, not unit 6, unit 11. Unit 11, right? That is chemical kinetics. Right? If you want to get a screenshot, please get it. Okay, I'm going to make a screenshot. There's no issue with that, but I'll be adding a clear photo of this at the end of the discussion, right? To your WhatsApp group. There's no issue with that. So I'm writing about this now. Yes. මේ sessions record කරන්න හැම මහන්සි වෙන්න ඕන නම් අපි record කළාම දෙනවනේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ. ඒ නිසා අපිට මේක මේ අමුතුවෙන්ම record කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. අපේ coordinate කිව්වම recording එක කියලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. සමහර classes තියෙනවා recordings දෙන්නේ නැහැ. එහෙම issues තියෙනවා. but ඉතින් අපිට එහෙම ප්‍රශ්නයක් කරලා අපි අද වෙනකන් එහෙම recordings දීලා තියෙනවා. issue එකක් නැහැ. So in unit 11, that is chemical kinetics. Then we are moving to unit 12, that is equilibrium. So if you are doing A-level maths, definitely you will be learning about equilibrium, about forces. Physics වල තියෙනවා පොඩි equilibrium part එක. Right? In physics also, there's a certain equilibrium part. So then can you see the number of periods in this lesson? ගොඩක් අය හිතනවා syllabus එකේ unit 12 වලට ආවම syllabus එක ඉවරයි. තව චුට්ටයි තියෙන්නේ. ඉවරයි කියන්නේ. හරි. So then පුතා ඉවරයි කියවට ඉවර නෑ. Definitely you can see how many periods are allocated under equilibrium. Just see here, 94. Can you see? It's a big challenge, right? It's a big challenge. So then definitely you have to learn really well. Even in unit 12 also, there's 94 periods. It's a huge lesson, right? If you have your father, mother, or brother, sister, they have done A-level science, you can get some idea about that. Recently, that is called equilibrium. Under equilibrium, we'll be discussing about chemical equilibrium, which is called KPKC. And then we'll be discussing about ionic equilibrium, KSP. We'll be discussing about pH. We have a certain idea about pH. So I'll ask one question. When we consider HCl and sodium hydroxide, which one is having high pH value? HCl, sodium hydroxide. Which one is having high pH value? Yes, you know. So however, you know that. You don't know about pH values, but you know sodium hydroxide is having high pH value. Very good. Right? Really good. Okay. So HCl is having low pH value. Higher the acidity, lower the pH value. So then in pH lesson, we are going to calculate those values. We are writing equations, we are considering different events, and we are calculating those cases. So clear? pH lesson. මම believe කරන විදිහට A-level chemistry වල තියෙන complex section එක තමයි pH curves කියන. ඔයගලගේ කාගේ හරි එහෙම confirm කරගන්න ඕන නම් අහලා බලන්න පුළුවන් අහලා යන්න. pH curves එක කොහොමද? When you consider the current resource book, there's many calculations related to pH curves. It's not a simple lesson, right? So then that is calculations. We can put it here, unit 12. Unit 12, it is under physical chemistry. Okay, then the next one. Okay, may units to introduce Unit 13, electrochemistry. I think you have a certain idea about electrochemistry, right? Electrochemistry. Because you have seen the solutions and some electrodes, right? We can put electrodes to here. Electrodes forget. Then that's electrode, anode, cathode. Okay? What is the function of anode? Anode will oxidize or anode will reduce? Do you know? In O-level chemistry, under that section, anode, yes, it undergoes very good. අපිට oxidize කියලා කියනවා. මුලින්ම oxidize කියලා කිව්වේ අපිට ඒ මම කියනවා නම. හරි. Akash. Right. I have given the name oxidize. Okay, presently. Right. Tiwaharan. No, right. Okay. So that it's oxidation. So some students, they are keeping this in their mind. Red cat. Yes. Reduction cathode. Oxidation, that is anode reduction cathode. So we are writing oxidation half reactions, reduction half reactions, electrochemical cells, electrolysis, right? Electroplating, corrosion. We'll be discussing, that is unit 13. So we are calculating the amounts, okay, of current that is passed. Calculations unit 13 for the physical chemistry. Right? Unit 14. What is that? Right? During today's physical class, lesson 22 class, we have finished industrial also. Okay. We have finished industrial lesson, the last lesson. Next week we'll be discussing the full syllabus short note, and we'll be starting paper discussions, past papers and term test papers. Right? Okay. So then, industrial chemistry and environmental pollution. What do you think? Which category is better? Right? There are some ideas that they are getting another category called industrial, but we can put under this form. Under industrial chemistry also, we are learning about industries based on what? Based on elements. In your O-levels, you are learning about salt production, salt and metal, blast furnace, iron extraction, right? Downs cell metal, sodium extraction. So then that is categorized under what? Which one is better? Right. Learning about elements, learning the compounds, the production of the compounds. Which one is better? Oh, guess කරන්න. හරිද? Science කියනකොට හිතන එක පුරුදු වෙන්න. මම කොච්චර questions අහයිද බලන්න හිතනවාද කියලා. You should think yourself. Definitely you have to be changed when you are doing another science, because definitely you have to develop the mind. Right? When you have finished doing science, you will see a difference inside you, because you can think something out of the box. That is inorganic, right? Unit 14 for the inorganic chemistry. Unit 14. Yeah. Now we have finished that, right? So at the end of the session or tomorrow, you can write the topics and the other stuff if you want, but this is also enough, right? And then I must tell about the notes, the PDF. If you are joining online, it is not practical to send the notes, the printed versions, because of this post delays. It is not a practical thing, because when we are sending the tube, it will be delayed. So then it is better to download it. So then, sorry, you can just ask from our coordinator and you can download. Most of the tubes I am directly added to your WhatsApp. Right? So it is better to have a tab or some separate mobile for that. Okay, with a Zoom package. If you are willing to participate online, furthermore, because when there are power cuts and all the other stuff, you can manage it, right? But for the essential papers, I'm telling how to get a printout of this. So you can get a printout from your nearest communication or bookshop for those ones, but don't try to get printouts for all the tubes and PDFs. Okay, that's in vain. You can ask from me, is it worth that I'm getting a printout of this? So then I can send you some comment. Otherwise, no need to get printouts of those. Just keep it as a PDF. Right? We have all the PDFs in my Google Drive. You also can have a Google Drive in your Google account. So then upload all the files and keep it there. So that won't be deleted. Right? So just use techniques. Right? That's all. So in your schools, when you are learning about this, some questions. Do we need to print the resource book? Any question again? It is better to have a copy of the first resource book, General Chemistry, right? I mean, Unit 1 and Unit 2. So my answer is yes. So if you can, make it compact and you can just get a printout, it's better. First of all, get a printout of that General Chemistry one. But I have seen some bookshops, they are already making printouts of them and they're selling. සමහර book shops වල resource book එක purchase කරගන්නම පුළුවන්. හරි. bio resource book එක bio teachers ලා කිව්වා පොඩි variations වගේක් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා ඒ variation එක තාම release වෙලා නැහැ. I mean, there's a syllabus change. There are some terms change in your biology book. So, they advise to say that for biology students, when you're downloading the book from ni.lk, there is not the latest one. So then no need to get a printout, just have the PDF only for your reference. So then if you are getting a printout, already if you have taken a printout, you have to, I mean, make some adjustments to those terms, asking from the biology teacher. Definitely that is changed, right, for 2024, not for 2023 or 2022. Yeah, right, only for biology. But physics, chemistry, those resource books, there's no change, right? Any more questions? Next one. So in your school, when we are explaining these lessons, there's a term-wise breakdown. It's called a terms hierarchy. Right? First term, second term, third term. First term, second term, third term. So you can see the number of lessons that you have to learn. The grade 12 first term test means unit 1 to unit 3. You can put the atomic structure to chemical calculations. Right? Take a clear name. Second term, unit 4 to unit 6. Third term, unit 7 to unit 10. Again, organic finish karan on. Unit 10 is organic. Right? Organic finish karan with kinetic start. So then 11 to 12 means kinetic to equilibrium, half of equilibrium. Right? 12.2 can put the lesson subcategories. Like equilibrium make a separate KSP, pH, right? Likewise, 12.2 can. So then lesson subcategories, sub lessons, right? So then second term means equilibrium to end of electrochemistry, and then the third term means it is industrial chemistry, right? That's the term wise breakdown. I want to make a pen. Some classes or some students they're starting A-level chemistry with organic chemistry. Sometimes they're starting A-level chemistry with like physical chemistry. I don't know what they're trying to do from that, because in our school, when we are making a term test, in Colombo schools, when they are making a term test, definitely they are asking the term test from the first 3 units. So we start a term test. I got paper. That term test is made from first 3 units. So if you are learning organic chemistry at the beginning, definitely that won't be fruitful to your term test marks. And then you will be confused when you are doing organic chemistry, because you haven't developed your mind in order to do a lesson like organic chemistry. In order to do organic chemistry, definitely you should get certain warm up in this advanced level chemistry. Product warm up when karate class practice definitely you are doing warm up exercises, right? First day, all then you can go home. That's all first day, right? Likewise, this is also the same thing. I mean, when we are starting advanced level chemistry, until you are getting ready to this learning teaching process, we are just developing your mindsets gradually, not starting with organic chemistry. That's a big problem, right? Then don't do that. So that's what I showed that, right? I can share some term test papers also with you now. Right. So then this Royal College term test paper. So likewise, they'll be giving the term test, right? So this is from the first 3 lessons. Yeah, first 3 lessons. They don't mix up organic chemistry with this, right? Okay, that's all. Then my next point is structure of your A-level chemistry test. Because after learning A-level chemistry, you are writing a written paper. You don't have any practicals in A-level chemistry. I mean, in the exam, we have to learn practicals in A-level chemistry subject. That's true. But there's no practical paper or practical session like your dancing or like your art subjects, like drawing. There's no practicals in A-level chemistry. Right? If you read tech subjects, there are practicals. Tech practicals, right? A-level practicals means practical exam. Right? The practicals not the chemistry. Definitely there are practicals. Practicals not the maths. And it's practicals. Right, okay. So then, right after this, okay, structure of advanced level chemistry paper. Structure of advanced level chemistry paper. Because when we are doing questions in A levels, we should know the structure of A level chemistry paper. It's just like your O level paper. right? O-level science වගේම තමයි structure එක basically, right? So then the topic මම කිව්වා structure of advanced level chemistry paper. So when you consider A-level chemistry, A-level chemistry, the subject number is 2. You know, your O-level science subject number is 34. A-level chemistry, the subject number is 02. Right. So in chemistry paper, there are 2 categories, MCQ and essay. Right. Before explaining about the chemistry paper, I'll tell about the timetable in this chemistry paper. In your O-levels, you started O-levels with Buddhism or Sinhala. And then you had science, you had history, right? You had those, main subjects, English, right? Then maths. Okay. Adjacently, you had those other English, you know, had a history. Right? So then when you have English, you have all the papers in one day. But just believe in A-levels, okay, sorry, you have gaps between even the first paper and second paper. Gaps means not hourly gaps, daily gaps. Like 3 days gaps, 2-day gaps between first paper and second paper. Can you understand? Your A-level exam will be starting from combined maths, pure maths paper. At the same day, biology students will have bio first day. And then second day, biology, second day, next day, biology students will have bio 2 paper because they are studying biology for bio 1 and 2 both. But math students, the second day is a holiday. Right? So then the third day, you will be having applied paper. Applied maths paper, 3 hours paper. Right? And then before the physics first paper, we have 2 days gap. Generally 2 days gap. Sometimes it will become 3 days depending on the holiday. Like a poet, account that exam can name. Right? So likewise, there's a holiday. So before physics first, 2 days holiday. Then bio කරනට ඇත්තටම days 3ක holiday එකක්. Physics first එකට ගන්න. Maths කරනට දවස් 2යි holidays. Physics first එකට ගන්න. So now after physics first paper, we'll be having physics second paper just after 2 days. Is it always the same? Yes. මම A-level කරන කාලේ නම් මෙහෙම. හරි. ඒක වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Now you have O-level maths on Monday. Definitely there is a compulsory thing. It's a constant. We know O-level maths always held on Mondays. Science always held on Saturdays. Right? That's the method. Right? So in A-levels also there's a thing like that. So then after physics 2, you have 2 days gap generally before chemistry 1, and then 1 day gap before chemistry 2. Why they are keeping gaps? Because they are giving time to study to increase your score, right? So then just know about your subjects. So in your A-levels, you don't have only 3 papers for, combined bio, chemistry, physics. There are 3 other papers. How papers? Do not theory. Do you know about that? Okay. General English paper, common general test paper. You have to score at least 30 marks in order to get the university admission. In common general test paper, they're asking about general questions, right? In which country the football World Cup was held in this year, likewise. And then there's another paper called GIT paper, General Information Technology. Okay? Even ICT students also, they should do GIT paper because it's a common subject. Those are not compulsory things. Definitely you have to face it. Compulsory means that result will not affect your advanced level university admission. The university admission after A-levels. But for common general test, you have to score 30% of the marks of the paper. Right? Okay. And in your school also, you have to learn 5 subjects. Right? Chemistry, physics, maths, bio, that thing, and then general English and common general English and general information technology. GI. Right? Right. Okay. And then you have to do a project also. That's a group project. Then in your schools, they'll be explaining about that. So then it's very important to know about the conditions. Because if you don't have any science related person, you should get everything from teachers. Right? So then at the beginning, it is a responsibility to share the information with you. Right. So if you have any other doubts, in order to clarify it, just WhatsApp me or just ask the question here. Right. Okay. So in A-level chemistry paper, we find 2 parts. Right. Paper 1, which is MCQ. How many MCQs we have? Right? How many MCQs we have? You know, in your O-level science paper, you had 40 MCQs, 1 hour. But in A-level chemistry paper, we will have 50 MCQs in 2 hours. I'm going to know 50 MCQs, 2 hours then on. Right? Yes, great. Right? But I know okay, it's a competitive thing. Right? We'll experience that. That's what they are giving. 2 hours. 2 hours means nearly 120 minutes. Right? So then for one MCQ, you will be having more than 2 minutes. Okay, MCQ right? Generally, yeah, equally separate. Right? Okay, 50 MCQs. At the end of the explanation, I'll add a photo of this to your WhatsApp group, so that no need to worry about this. 50 MCQs. How many hours? Right? 2 hours. 2 hours. How many marks? It's interesting. You know, out of 100 for the MCQ paper, how many marks they will be? Yes, it's very simple. 50 marks. Just half. Right. 50 marks out of 100. Clear? So then it is very competitive. But keep remember, even you have scored 50 out of 50, you won't be able to select to medicine or engineering without doing the second. Right? Just don't think I'm doing first paper well and I'm not doing second paper. Right? So then the results will be S, because you have to score more than 35 marks in order to score S. You have to score more than 55 marks in order to score C pass. And you have to score more than 65 marks in order to get a B pass. You have to score more than 75 marks in order to score A pass. So just 50 out of 50 also means it's an S pass. I mean, if you are not, if you are neglecting the second paper, right? So I am telling that the second paper is also really important if your ambition is medicine and engineering, right? I mean, the highest ranks. Paper 2. So when we consider paper 2, we can categorize paper 2 under 2 sections. Number 1, the SE. SE means structured essay. And then we can categorize here essay like this. So how many structured essay questions we get? We can so then before showing the structured essay paper, I'll show the MCQ paper to you, right? So you can see this is 2020 A-level MCQ paper, right? 2020 A-level MCQ paper. So they have clearly mentioned, another period table is provided, right? So you have 9 papers, 9 pages, and period table is provided, right? So can you tell me a small difference between your O-level MCQ and A-level MCQ? Just reading this, I mean, in the format. Okay, no need to get any points from here. You don't need to give the answer. I'm asking, when you consider an O-level MCQ and A-level MCQ, what is the difference in this format? That's a big difference. Yes. Have you seen that? There are 5 choices, right? This advanced level. So then the probability of getting a correct answer for one MCQ is 20% or 105. That's a competitive one, right? So you will pick. But I must say, not only that. Okay. So from 1 to 30, right? From 1 to 30, you have 5 choices, right? From 1 to 30, you have 5 choices. But for that, from 31 to 40, the pattern is a bit different, right? 31 to 40, the pattern is different. So let's move to the paper and scroll it, right? So I'll be scrolling the paper here. Just see question number 31, right? Now in 30, we have 5 answers, right? But in 31, you can see there's no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? It's always like this. It's a table. So can you understand what we have to do, right? So definitely more than one statement is correct out of these statements. So the main statement saying right? More than one statement is correct. So what you have to do, you have to select your answer depending on this table. Is it clear? If AB is correct, your answer is 1 because they are giving a square grid. You have to just mark your answer. You can't mark ABCD, right? So then definitely you will be in a trouble if you're trying to mark A, B, C, D in that square sheet B, right? So you should know from 31 to 40, the MCQ category is like this. So do you want to study this? No, they will be giving in the paper itself. It's printed, right? So then you should know the idea. More than one statement is correct, right? Can you tell me? Just tell me if A, B, C, D, if all the statements are correct, right? Just think if all the statements are correct, what should be the answer? The questions ඔක්කොම හරිනම් මොකක්ද answer? According to this table. Questions නෙවෙයි. මේ දීලා තියෙන statements ඔක්කොම හරිනම්. If all the statements are correct, yes, very good, right? Mazar, fifth option. Vesandi, right? Sivaharan, met me, right? Sinadi, right? Rumana, yes, good. That is fifth option, right? That kind of a thing. So then from the very first day, I'm explaining everything because then you won't be in the trouble when I'm doing chemistry questions, right? So we are doing many more questions. So because of that, I want to give the idea. Right? Otherwise, you will ask what is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, right? Yes. So 31 to 40, that is A, B, C. Right? A, B, C. So shall I give a method to study that? I mean, the order, they will be giving the table, but it is better to keep it in your mind, right? Very simple. A, B, C, D. See here, right? When A, B is correct, answer is 1. When A, B is correct, answer is 1. Don't they change the order? No, no. It's a constant. When B, C is correct, answer is 2. When B, C is correct, the answer is 2. Right? So then when C, D is correct, answer is 3. When D, A is correct, answer is 4. Right? A, B 1, B, C 2, C, D 3, and then when there's another option, answer is 4. But another option means AD correct, answer is 4. If there's any other option, BD correct, AC correct, so in that case, answer is 5. Is it clear? But it is lazy. At the table, like right? Always you have to turn the table and see what is the answer. It will waste your time. That's what I'm giving a method like that. Okay, right. Next thing, let's move to 41 to 50 MCQs. Right? So when we are moving 41 to 50 MCQs, and we are scrolling like this, you'll be getting another thing. Can you see 40 first question here, right? So you can just get an idea about the MCQ question here because there are two statements. So sometimes you may in a trouble how to select the answer. You got a time test get students lapping a so make answer likewise. So then you should know there's a table for that, right? There's a table, first statement, second statement. So you can see, just see answer number 3. The answer number 3, right? Answer number 3. So in answer number 3, the first statement is true, right? First statement is true. The second statement is false, right? Second is false. In answer number 4, first one is false. The second one is true. Answer number 5, both statements are false. Can you understand? You can read the statements and just get the validity. But what is answer 1, 2? Both statements are true, but if the second statement is explaining the first statement, if the second statement is explaining the first statement, your answer is 1. If it is not explaining, your answer is 2. Right? Right? Then you are having two statements. Then you have to read it independently. Don't read it together. Read the first statement, just close in the second one. Then think whether it is true or false. In Sri Lanka, these days, we are having a fuel crisis. True. Where is it? Second step. Recently, there was a match between Sri Lanka and Australia. True. Answer is 1 or 2. 1 means if the second one is explaining the first thing, the first issue. If there's any relationship with the first one, answer is 1. Relationship have clear. If there's any connection, answer is 1. Match එකයි fuel crisis. If there's no relationship, answer is 2. Very simple. Right? So you know, is there any relationship? The match and the fuel crisis? I think you can understand about that, right? If you think a deep thing, sometimes you may find there's a relationship between the match and the fuel crisis, but just see it from the top, right? Just get the idea. There's no relationship. Answer is 2. Right? Can understand? In chemistry also, we are giving statements like magnesium does not react with cool water. Right? Then magnesium doesn't react with cool water. It is true. So they will give the second statement. Group 2 elements do not react with water. So you have to think group 2. All the elements, will it react with water or not? So you have to just analyze something. So if it is reacting, will it explain the first one? Okay. Not the first one is explaining the second one. The second statement should explain the first one. Explaining is not a review. Sometimes it's like, some explanation madi is. Godak liyan ne review එකක් නෙවෙයි. It's not a comment. I'm asking if there's a small connection between the second and first, generally we take answer as 1. If there's no relationship at all, that's answer 2. It's easy to filter. Don't think much more, right? Okay, but it's answer 3. I told in statement questions, when the first one is incorrect, the second one is correct. Answer is 3. Sorry. When the first one is correct, the second one is incorrect. Answer is 3, right? When the first one is incorrect, the second one is correct. Answer is 4. Correct, incorrect. So sometimes you may worry, you are trying to keep these things also in your mind. They are giving the table. In A level, everything depends on speed. If you have a great speed, definitely you should be remembering these things, right? Otherwise, always question wise, you will be taking the table and it will waste like 1 or 2 minutes from your entire reading time. So that's what we are practicing from the very beginning. Right? First one is true, second one is incorrect, answer is 3. First one is incorrect, second one is correct, answer is 4. Both statements are incorrect, answer is 5. Right? So that is all about MCQ. Is it clear? So when the MCQ paper is over, the chemistry second paper will be held just after 1 day or sometimes 2 days gap will be there. Right, okay. Structured essay and essay. In structured essay paper, we have 4 questions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? It is very nice. They are analyzing these 4 questions from 4 sections. General chemistry, right? The first one they are giving from general. The second one they are giving from inorganic. General chemistry, you will be able to do the first structured essay question. Fluid structures, right? General chemistry. Third one, physical chemistry. The fourth one, organic chemistry. Here, right? That is structured essay. Is it compulsory? Yes, all the 4 questions compulsory. So in how many hours you will be getting for paper 2? That is 3 hours. So from the 3 hours for the structured essay paper, you have to get 1 hour, right? For the structured essay paper, you have to get 1 hour. Can you tell me the time allocated for one structured essay question there? What will be the time allocated for one structured essay question? Yes, very simple. 15 minutes. Vinadi pahalava, right? 15 minutes. So within 15 minutes, we have to answer this, right? So what about the essay paper? In your O-level science essay paper, you had 5 questions. I think you have tried 3 questions. You can skip 2 questions. O-level science. In A-level chemistry paper also, you can skip 2 questions. But there are 6 essay questions. That means how many questions you should do? Okay. 4 questions. You can't do any 4. There are 2 categories, right? I'm not deeply explaining that. I'm just briefly explaining, right? There are 2 categories in the essay paper, right? Actually, structured essay paper is called paper A, right? This is part A. This is called part A. And in the essay paper, there's part B and part C. Right? In part C, we have 3 questions, 5, 6, 7. In part C, we have 8, 9, 10. The 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. From here, you can do any 2 questions. And here also, you can do any 2 questions. Okay? So then what is the basis of this categorization? There's no such basis like that. Here you get physical chemistry questions and inorganic chemistry question. And here you get organic conversion, organic chemistry, industrial chemistry, and Inorganic Chemistry. I mean, for the essay paper, they will be asking from Unit 3 to Unit 14. In essay paper, generally you don't get first 2 units. Again, essay paper get first 2 units any because it is they have asked in the first structured essay question. But from lesson 3, Unit 3 to Unit 40, you will be getting in the essay paper, right? Yes, okay. Now, next thing is marks. So when we are marking, how many marks we are allocating for the entire essay paper? Answer is 1000 marks. We are giving marks out of 1000. In combined maths also the same scenario. Physics also the same scenario. We don't marks from 200 or 100, right? Just like in your level, I mean, like grade 8, grade 9, they're marking out of 100. But here, due to the complexity of the exam, they're giving marks out of 1000. So how many marks you will be getting for one structured essay question? So one structured essay question will get 100 marks. 100 into 4 for the structured paper, you get 400 marks. 400 marks, right? 400 marks. And for the essay paper, you get 600 marks. And for one essay question, how many marks you will be getting? Can you tell it? For one essay question, for that? Yes, it's 150 marks. Because you have to do only 4 questions. 600 divided by 4 is 150, right? 150 marks you will be getting. Even an essay question is not a single question, it is a categorization of A, B, C. You can essay question take it, part A, part B, part C. The combination of that is 150 marks. Is it clear? Right? Don't get afraid of that, but we have to feel the reality. I mean, we should know what they are asking in the exam. Because at the end of this course, you won't be a scientist, right? You won't face any practical exam. As it's a written exam, from the very beginning, you should know the structure of the paper. So then, for the essay paper, they are giving marks out of 600. So one question is 150. Can just mention it. So then 600 into 400, 600 plus 400, that's 1000. 1000 divided by 20. 1000 divided by 20, it's 50, right? If you get that scale, 50 plus this 50 will give 100 marks. Simply, right? Or if not, we multiply MCQ marks by 2 and dividing that one by 1000 and we can simplify. But from the multiplication less, you can give it the 1000, you can divide by 20 and you will be getting the marks out of 50 and you can directly add with this. Right? That's the way. Right? That's the way. So then actually we don't want to waste the time as it is an online session to write this. You should write this in your notebook, but just see it. I'll be adding a photo of this to your WhatsApp group. Just give me a second, right? And then we'll be moving to the next session. We'll be discussing foundation questions and we'll be starting unit 1 also to a certain extent, right? Just see this one. I'm adding a photo to your WhatsApp group, right? This, if you have not engaged in our WhatsApp group, please just ask from the coordinator to add the WhatsApp group. Or at the end of the session, you can get it. Right, okay. I think it's available. Right? I think it's available in your WhatsApp group. Now you can write the structure of the paper from that. Okay. So I'm trying to erase it. If you have any questions, please ask. Right? If you have any questions, please ask. The next thing is the commencement of the first lesson. Right? So then I'll introduce your resource books. Right? So then here in your A-level chemistry, you should know we have the practicals book. Right? This is your practicals book. So in your practicals book, you have 44 practicals. And each and every lesson, we have to do the practicals. So then this is unit 1, practical number 1. Then under unit 2, we have these practicals. Unit 3, right? Unit 4, unit 5. So we have these practicals. Is it clear? Right, okay. And then this is your practical handbook. You can download it from ni.lk. And then this is your syllabus, right? There's a book called Syllabus. So then this is also available in ni.lk, right? This is your teacher's guide. Teacher's guide. If you want to refer your teacher's guide, it's available here. It's not a resource book, right? So these are the resource books. This is the first resource book. It contains the first 3 units: atomic structure, structure and bonding, and chemical calculations. This is the second resource book, unit 4, unit 5, right? And then here, chemistry of SPD block elements, unit 6, and then organic chemistry. That's a separate resource book for entire organic chemistry. So then, how many resource books available? 6 resource books. And here 2, and here also we have 2 books. So we have 6 resource books available in your advanced level chemistry session, apart from the practical guide, right? Okay, and then this is a marking scheme. So we are sharing the marking schemes with you in order to get a good idea about the exam marking procedure, and we are discussing questions using the marking schemes as we are marking these papers, right? Okay, and then this is the structure of the paper again. So then I have mentioned that, right? I mentioned that all this stuff, right? And then at the same time, I'll be explaining something about the university admission. So then there's a university handbook like this. So in the handbook, they have mentioned at least we have to have S passes and 30% for the common general test for the university admission, right? And then you can read these things furthermore. Okay, the requirements for the university admission, right? And then these are the university list, okay? Because after learning A-level chemistry in grade 12 and grade 13, you're not being grade 14, right? Okay, grade 8 9 from 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12. But hereafter, from grade 12 to grade 13, you can move. But after grade 13, there are some paths you can attend to state university, private university, you can do a job, or you can migrate, or you can be at home. Okay? So there are different options. You should decide which one you are selecting, and that is definitely based on your your A-level result will based on that decision, right? You have to get a decision based on your A-level result. So then this your duty to make it fruitful, make it success. That will be the dream of your parents, right? Okay. So then here I have mentioned the courses under biological stream. You can read this. I'm not going to explain everything here. Medicine, dental, veterinary science, agriculture, right? Food science. You can just read them. I think already you have read them. Okay. So if your target is to one of these sections, it is better to do biological science, right? Furthermore. And then if you are doing engineering science or physical science, we have these sections: physical science, computer science, engineering, and then these chapters, right? More sections are available under comment section also: survey, architecture, law, okay, design. So you can just read everything. I can add these diagrams, right? And then the university admission, the information, right? I'm not deeply explaining about this, but I must say, if you are an engineering student, right, you should select in your first year what is the section that you are doing. And engineering in Morato University, we don't have aviation engineering. I mean, aeronautical engineering. Apart from that, we have everything. I mean, electronics and electrical, right? That part, mechatronics. Then you have chemical, mechanical, right? Then civil engineering, software engineering. Likewise, they will be selecting to which category depending on your first year marks. In A level, not in A levels, but in university according to the grade point average GPA. For bio students, they'll be already selected to the medicine, dental, or veterinary science depending on your A level zip code, right? That's all from that. So then wishing you all the very best to attend to one of those targets clearly. And then at the same time, I'll explain something about your dream universities once, right? So you can just see this small time period. So if your target is to get the university admission, this will be worth to you. Right, so this is University of Sri Jagadantpura. You can just see the beauty of a state university from here, right? I think you can see it. This is my own university, right? So you can see the natural beauty. I know Peradeniya is also okay, just like this, more than this, right? So always just get the idea of a natural university. It's a free education, right? You'll be getting a degree which will worth more than 10 million, right? 10 million, sometimes 5 million, right? Depends. So then this is the largest school in Sri Lanka, University of Sri Jagadantpura. Right? We have that. So then already I have seen, it can be, as university students, we have seen the lectures and just have a swim, and then they are coming to the lectures. At the end of the lectures, they are just eating the kotu and just moving out, or just getting a swim again, or playing tennis, gym, everything is available. Okay, 4 years, 5 years, that's a marvelous freedom. Right? You'll be in a dream world when you're getting to a certain state like that. I mean, a state university. But if you're attending a private university, generally I'm not recommending that as a student who's quite learned from a government university. But it's also okay, but you have to pay, right? You know that. So your target should be attending a government university, a state university, right? Then you can have that proud to get a bachelor's degree or a master's degree at the end, right? Okay. So you can see the natural beauty. So when you are coming to A-levels, you should get some idea about the university entrance, university admissions, and then the culture of universities. And you have to have a clear dream on this, right? So then those dreams will make you success, because those dreams will allow you to work really hard, right? And then you have to make your parents' goals true, right? So you can see the gym, right? And then this is a kind of a karate, wushu training place, right? All are free, right? And then here they're playing carom. These are my own captures, right? Then here, some natural beauty. This is the tennis court. In the other universities also, you have this experience, but I have my own university, right? So if you have a bike or any other thing, you can just visit the university using your own vehicle, right? Parents, generally, they don't attend university or police or those army forces. They are not coming to university, okay, inside the university, right? So you can see the natural beauty again and again, right? So then I want to emphasize the idea of attending a government university. You can see how they are sharing and caring and having their lunch, right? So then it is very important, right? Not like you in A-levels, it will be a different experience, right? If you can just visit here, right? But all the students, it's a complete Wi-Fi zone, right? University. So you can have your own laptops and you can just watch films, right? Because the exams are not really tough like advanced level, right? They're tough, but you can manage it with your groups, with your students, right? Like this. So then you can have this experience, right? So I'll show one visual, right? So this is a convocation, right? It's a convocation. Give me 1 minute until I'm sharing it with you. I think now you can see it. Convocation means graduation ceremony after your university admission. University, I mean, you have finished the university course, you'll be getting the convocation. So that is one of your parents' dreams. Okay, just watch this one really well. You'll be getting a certain idea, right? Okay. Here message here. You can see the parents at the balcony. Then one of your, I mean, your father and mother will be allowed to attend here. Only two, right? In other cases, okay. So that's a great event. Okay. So they are watching. You are getting the graduation, and they'll be taking part to your graduation photo also.
බලන් හිටපු හීනයක් තමයි මේ අද හැබෑ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් ගොඩක්ම සතුටුයි. ඒ වගේම තමයි මේ මේක මම අවස්ථාවක් කරගන්නවා මගේ මේ ගමනට.
So this is is chancellor and that is vice chancellor, right? How do you chancellor kulapati, and then this is vice chancellor, right? You should know the terms. And then this is how a student is giving her own views.
මුහුණ දෙන්න පුළුවන් ශක්තියක් ආත්ම ධෛර්යයක් එක්ක විශේෂ වෙද්දී උපාධියක් එක්ක ගෞරවනීය විදිහට විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයෙන් එළියට යන්න වාසනාව ලැබීම පිළිබඳව.
ජයවර්ධනපුර විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ විශාලම විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ හින්දා අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම අද සහ හෙට උපාධි ලබා ගන්නේ ලංකාවේ විශාලම කණ්ඩායම කියලත් නිසකවම පැහැදිලි.
So you can understand what is this medal, right? So for in special badge, when they will be giving medals for certain students, right? Their best performances, right? Chemistry kind of second good thing about than happiness cycle. I say with me medal because he is also getting graduate. He has also graduated like this with a medal for a certain subject, right? For different subjects, they are giving only one medal for each subject, right? There are like 5 medals, 5 or 6 medals depending on the university, right? Only for the best student they are giving, right? Likewise.
මේ සඳහා මේ රටේ
ඉදිරියට ගෙන
today. This is all because of the support that I received from the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura.
This is a master's degree, I mean PhD degree, like a PhD degree. After that, you will become a doctor, right? Your name, you get DR term in front of that. This thing, your name is just like, I don't know, Kasun, right? Dr. Kasun. Likewise, you're not a medicine doctor, but it is doctor. Sinhalin, it's called Acharya, right? Right. So then just say how parents feel proud about you, right?
දියණිය උපාධිය ලබා ගත්තා. අවුරුදු 17ක ලොකු හීනයක් අද හැබෑ වුණා. මම හිතන්නේ මම වගේම සියලුම දෙමාපියන්ට සතුටු දවසක් අද.
I was able to win a lot of awards internationally and locally as well. I was able to develop a lot of skills in addition to my academics. So the lecturers, my parents, my colleagues, they've been behind me and guided me and supported me to achieve this milestone. So I'm really happy and proud to say that I'm a product of University of Sri Jayawardhanapura.
Right. So then boys, you can wear your school tie here, right? Girls, they are wearing a sari. So then I think that's enough, right? I think that's enough. So if you have any other issues, you can just send me those issues, so then I can answer them. I'll be adding a copy of this, the link of this to your WhatsApp group also, then you can watch it. Always be active and just get some productive dreams in your mind, so then they will make everything true. Just if you want to buy a car, definitely you have to have the photo of that and in your mind how which one is that like that. So then you have to dedicate, not just thinking about that. You have to dedicate daily, hourly, and the second also you have to dedicate. Then your dreams will become true if you're working hard. Okay, that's not that much of a difficult thing. So then I'll move to the next part. So now I have added a photo of this. Okay, no need to worry about that. So then let's start the first lesson, right? In your notebook, just write the contents, and then we'll be moving to the paper discussion. Okay. So what is our first lesson, right? In your notebook, Unit 1, Atomic Structure, right? By the name of the first topic, Unit 1, Atomic Structure. So from the very first day we are working, right? We're not just previewing the sessions, we are doing this work because already we have finished, we have been late with another parakvela in it. In the other years, we are starting in January, right? So then we don't have any time to be late. Right, okay. You're right in the first topic. So I'll share the resource book with you. Yes, you can see here. This is your resource book. Okay. Get well chemistry. In the first resource book, you have 3 units. If you are getting a printout, just get the printout of this, right? Just get a printout of this, and then you can just get the ideas about the lesson from me, right? Okay. So at the beginning, you can see there's a content. Atomic structure is the first unit, unit 1. So you can see there's a content page. Atomic theory, matter, right? Electromagnetic radiation, quantization, energy levels, right? Orbitals, electronic configuration, period table, likewise. So then in our lesson also, the lesson have started, we'll be writing the content and discussing each and every topic from that content, and we'll be doing past paper questions and term test paper questions based on that topic. Again, the topic of this thing, subatomic particles. If I'm explaining subatomic particles, I'll be doing many more questions, selecting from past papers and term test papers related to subatomic particles and moving to the next. I'm not finishing the lesson or finishing the syllabus and doing the question. That's what I'm writing a smart note. So then I can save my time. And you have the resource book also. Definitely I'll be referring the resource book and making it my note. So I'll be very comfortable with that. So I can do more questions. Doing more questions will improve your mindset. Right? That's the success. Right? So in 2023 batch also, you have experience like it. Right. So write the content. So that you can write content. Content. And that content as the first topic. And the first topic. Subatomic particles. Subatomic particles. Subatomic particles. This one you should write, right? If you're writing using a pencil or rubber, and then if you're willing to write this note again, it's okay at this time. But when your school started, it won't work, right? You're writing a note in the second time, you'll get another time, right? So at that time, you can do some questions. You have to save the time. But this at these weeks, at these months, nearly for 2 or 3 months, that is okay. If you're writing the note again. Subatomic particles is the first topic. Second one. Properties of cathode rays. Properties of cathode rays. Properties of cathode rays. Number 3. Atomic models. Atomic models. So this is a kind of history part in A-level chemistry. That's called alchemy. Right? Chemistry history again topics today. Is it clear? Properties of cathode rays, atomic models. Number 4. Electromagnetic spectrum. Electromagnetic spectrum. Electromagnetic spectrum. If you have any issues, please just feel free to ask it via Zoom, right? Zoom mega hand. If you have any difficult, right? You can add a photo of this one also, but it is better, right? Always don't have to make everything pretty, right? Okay, electromagnetic spectrum. After that, right? Hydrogen emission spectrum, right? Hydrogen means element hydrogen. So we can write capital H for that. Emission. Hydrogen emission spectrum. Hydrogen emission spectrum. Number 6, hydrogen emission spectrum. After that, we have number 6. Electronic configurations. Electronic configurations. Electronic configurations and quantum numbers. Quantum, Q-U-A-N-T-U-M, quantum numbers. Right? Now, if you are getting a printout of the resource book, those terms are available, so you can easily find it. Right? Quantum numbers. So then this is your resource book. I show that term. Electronic configuration here, right? No electronic configuration. And then this is quantum numbers. We're discussing it together, right? Mention electronic configuration and quantum numbers. Always I'm discussing in a scientific manner. Sometimes I'll be changing the pattern of this resource book. I mean, I'm not changing the lessons order, but I'll be changing the discussion order. In certain cases, getting it in a scientific case. So can you please send the resource book to our group? Definitely I'll send the resource book. මේ වෙලාවෙ වන්නද? මම එව්වා. මේ සමහර resource book එක අතන ඇඩ් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ නිසා resource book එක නැහැ. Right? Previously I have added the resource book to your WhatsApp group. Again I'll share it. Right. Okay. Now I think I have shared it again. Right. Now resource book is available. So then as a smart generation, I think you are using the resource book at the same time and try to use your technology maximum. Electronic configurations and quantum numbers, right? Number 7, that will be the last chapter. Last chapter under first unit. Periodic trends. What? Periodic trends. Trends. And you all of us also have done certain trends. Electronegativity, ionization energy, right? We have like 6 trends, just like the topic period trends. It's a kind of another lesson. I mean, it's a big lesson. Periodic trends. Period trends. Okay. So if you have the space under period trends, it's better to write some terms. Just get 1 minute. Right, I'll be discussing more terms. Right, I'm going to write these terms. These are the period terms we are discussing. I mean, the radius, okay, electronic configuration, ionization energy, electron gain energy, and electronegativity. But in my class, I'll be discussing more than that. My class is very discussed related to period trends. I'll be discussing some more contents in the first lesson, right? So then, generally, if I'm telling the time period that I'm getting to cover this lesson, it depends on your performance. If you're working really hard, we can cover it soon. But in general, we'll be getting nearly 2 months to cover this. If someone is covering this lesson just like in 1 month or like in 2 weeks, that won't be success, because we are doing past paper questions and term test paper questions with this lesson, right? You should be speed, should have a certain speed, but you have to realize the concepts really well, right? Okay. Our first part is subatomic particles. Subatomic particles. So then I'm not going to discuss the subatomic particles topic now, because it's the first topic. You can write the topic, subatomic particles, and keep it. So I'll ask some questions from you, because my target is to discuss some questions from foundation paper course, right? How many subatomic particles we have? You know the answer? 3. But you know the subatomic particles also, electrons, protons, and neutrons. Apart from those subatomic particles, nowadays in modern science they have recovered some more particles. I mean, even proton can be dissociated, separated. When neutron can be dissociated. There are some I mean tiny particles, quantum particles like lepton, right? Quark. There are some modern particles, right? But in A-level science we don't get any idea about that. Right? A-level science so under subatomic particles we'll be discussing the nature of electrons, protons, and neutrons, mass, charge, E/M ratio, scientists, so on. Right? So just keep the topic subatomic particles in your notebook and then get the questions book. Then get the questions book, okay? Because I'm moving to the question side from your O-level basis. Right? From these contents, put some star marks. Mum make star marks. Definitely these topics will be critical for you. Right? Definitely a topics for the study karanna. Otherwise you have to suffer. Put star marks for these topics. Number 1, hydrogen emission spectrum. Hydrogen emission spectrum. Put a star mark. Right? You have to be careful in that point because it's a challenge. I'm not telling that lesson is very difficult. That's very simple, but you have to focus really hard than subatomic particles, atomic particles, right? So when we are moving through a jungle, if I'm a guide, right? I'll explain some points. Be very careful at this point, right? Don't jump, right? Just move very slowly because this is a point that you can lose your balance. So likewise, I'm saying here also, hydrogen emission spectrum, and then there's electronic configurations is okay. The next part, quantum numbers, just put a star mark near quantum numbers. Okay, near quantum numbers. That's the second thing you have to be careful. And then the last thing is periodic trends. Inside periodic trends, we have topics called ionization energy, electron gain energy, electronegativity, electron affinity, radius, oxidation number, hybridization, charge, valency. That's a big lesson actually. So you have to be really careful in periodic trends lesson also when you are learning, right? So always I'm just giving a forecast on the previous lessons and doing, right? The first part is very simple. Atomic structure, atomic models, this history, right? Okay. Get the questions book. So first of all, I'm moving to this question, right? I would like to start your class from a question in the question session, right? So we are discussing formula writing. Formula writing product study, right? Yes. So get foundation course model paper 2, right? I have added all these papers, but even you are not having the paper, it is okay, right? It is okay. So with that question book, you can topic that question book in a rough work. There's no order, you can just do anything, right? For a small topic, formula writing, right? I'm going to revise some more level concepts. Formula writing, right? So under formula writing, just separate your page under 4 categories, 4 columns, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I mean, half of the page is enough. Between bargain separate grammar, right? This is the basic. 1, 2, 3, 4. But you have to get a big space for 1, right? And 2. What is this 1, 2, 3, 4? Valency. Valency 1. Valency 2. Right? Valency 3 and valency 4. Because in formula writing, we need valencies in order to write formulas. I know in your levels you have done, but this is the way that we require your knowledge in A levels. I'm not doing it completely, but I'm giving some introduction to you. Because in A levels also, under unit 3, we'll be discussing formula writing in advance. I mean, to the depth. Right. So have you separated like this? Raise your hands. There's a button to raise your hands, right? Under reactions. I think like this. Okay, very good. All of us online. All the exam online other things online, right? So then you know and ask, right? Okay. So then that is how you are giving answer. I mean, if it is okay, when you have written the note, I'm waiting because I can't see how you have written, right? So you can just hands up, then I get the idea that you have finished. I've done, right? Okay. For that, first of all, I ask you a question. How to write sodium carbonate? Sodium carbonate. What is the formula? Sodium carbonate. Just write it roughly by a side. So then when you are writing sodium carbonate, if you are writing sodium carbonate like NaCO3, this is incorrect because you have missed the valencies, right? You have missed the valencies. What is sodium carbonate? Can you just type the formula and send it? I mean, the fonts are okay, capital, simple, but the format. Very good. Mazar, we received your answer. Divaharan, your answer is correct. Others? Are they having the lunch? Sorry, dinner. Somehow dinner again or than in there. What's the right time on the right? May Senesha, right? Okay. NaCO3, Na2CO3. Personally. Okay. So that now in your O levels, sometimes you have studied sodium. Right? In sodium, the valency is 1. In carbonate, it is CO3, the valency is okay. Carbonate CO3, the valency is 2. But in A levels, this is not matching. That is correct, but this is not the proper way. Please understand, sodium carbonate is an ionic compound. In ionic compounds, you can't write elements. You should write ions. Positive charge ion, it is called cation. Negative charge ion, it is called anion. Right? You should write the cation and anion when you are writing an ionic compound, right? The ionic compound is clear, but cation and anion is so you should know valence is equal to group number in the periodic table. So periodic table, group 1, valence is 1. Lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, calcium. All those elements are having valency 1. So then how to write those elements? We know from group 1 to group 3, they are making cations. So from group 5 to group 7, they are making anions. Anions means negative charges. So then we know group 1 elements, right? Group 1 elements from a periodic table you can get lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, calcium. So then how we write lithium? Li plus, cation, valency 1, sodium plus, K plus, rubidium plus. So can you tell me how to write aluminium? Just send your answer. Aluminium probably. You know, aluminium is in group 3. Boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium. So I told group 1 to group 3, you can write the version as a cation. So then how we write aluminium? Al3 plus. That's how we are writing in elements, right? All of us will have to right? I don't know. So aluminium means Al3 plus. Aluminium means Al3 plus. So can you send me the answer of how oxygen will exist? So I told from group 5 to group 7, they are anions, negative ions. So what is the valence, right? How to get the valence? Group 5 to group 7, 8 minus group number is the valence. The group 5 can valence 5 away. 8 minus group number is your valence. So then 8 minus 5 is 3. So your valence is 3, but as it is making an anion, you have to say 3 minus for group 5 elements. Group 6 elements, 2 minus. Group 7 elements, minus. Because 8 minus 7 is 1. Did you get it? I mean, for group 1 elements, we are saying plus cations. But group 7 elements, 8 minus 7 is 1, but we don't say Cl plus. Those are making anions, we say Cl minus. Very good. Your answer is whether the second oxygen or 2 minus oxide. Right? Now for the competitive question, right? So I'll ask a question from you. Arsenic. AS. What is the version? I mean, how it will exist as a cation or as an anion? If it is existing as a cation, how we write it? Okay, just find arsenic and how it exists. You can send your answers. What it will be the valency and how to mention it, right? That's a bit bit comparative question. Okay, keep remember. I'll show the arsenic element here. Sometimes you are saying arsenic is an anion, but I have to say arsenic, antimony, and bismuth, they are metals, right? So that when there are metals, they are forming cations, right? This is your arsenic. So then just give your answer, because I have to give that. If it's a metal, it will not take any anion, right? So in arsenic, what is your answer? How arsenic exists as an ion? Your answer is correct. We received some answers. I'll give the names. Met me. You are the first one to give this answer. So then really good on your performance, right? And Tiwaharan again and again, you're giving good answers. So then really accept, really good on your performance, right? Mazar, you should change your answer to a certain extent, but that is partially correct, right? Good try, right? Okay, so then arsenic, what is this group? Group number is 5. So then I told in group 5 how to get the valency, right? So the group 5 elements are valency ganne 8 minus 5. So 8 minus 5 is 3. Then you know here valency is 3. So then for nitrogen we write N3 minus. So for phosphorus we write P3 minus because they are non-metals. But for arsenic you can't write 3 minus, that is AS3 plus. Did you get it? Right, arsenic, AS3 plus. Can you tell me how to write barium? Right, barium. Can you find the element barium here? That's a challenge. How to write barium? I can't say where's the location. Barium in there. Barium starts with capital B definitely. Yes, so then you have to understand when you're giving the valency, right? So it is in group 2, right? Group 2. What is barium? Is it this one? Okay. You know, this is beryllium, right? So beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium. So the barium is here, right? So then I told group number is equal to the valency when you're moving group 1 to group 3, 4, right? So we don't get these groups. These are D block elements, right? So just neglect that and then consider the trend 5, 6, 7, just like your all level period table, right? So when you are writing beryllium, you are writing beryllium 2 plus, right? I think you can understand the concept, right? Okay. So then here we're discussing about the formula writing part. So then I emphasize in A levels when we are writing formulas, we are writing the cations and anions. So then how to write sodium carbonate, right? How to write sodium carbonate. In A levels when we are writing sodium carbonate, there is Na plus the cation, CO3 2 minus, CO3 2 minus. I mean, carbonate is a radical. You should know carbonate valency is 2. But how to write it? It is CO3 2 minus. Oxygen should be capital. Then you have to exchange the valencies like this, and then you should write the compound, right? Exchanging the valencies and you are writing the compound Na2CO3, right? This is the valence. Valency does not get any negative or positive answer. It's always positive. So you get these two here, and you put this one here. That's the answer. Okay, just mention like this, right? Mention like this. So then, if you get sulfate, what is sulfate? How to write the anion sulfate in this format, like CO3 2 minus. Sulfate means what? Sudha? Yes, that is S. Very good. We received the answer. O4 2 minus. That is sulfate. Right. So when you get bisulfate, one hydrogen will come in front of you. I mean here, one hydrogen will come like this. Then can you tell me the formula of bisulfate ion? When you get hydrogen as a prefix, we say bi. Bisulfate. What's the charge of bisulfate? Right? But simplifying this -2 with this +1. Then you should give the overall charge. So now what is bisulfate? Very good. Okay. You got the point. In A levels, we simplify the charges of cations and anions when we are mixing it. So then bisulfate should be HSO4 minus. So then can you tell me what is bicarbonate? Right? Carbonate means CO3 2 minus. Right? Bi means H plus. So bicarbonate means HCO3 minus. So HCO3 minus. Yes, that's correct. Is it late? Okay, so then there are some things you should realize like this. Again, then on the theory. Yes, so then you should know some valencies. I'll mention some important valencies under these categories, right? Likewise, what is dichromate? If you have dichromate and chromate, right? Should study these anions, right? Dichromate, chromate. The dichromate means two chromiums. Two chromiums. So that would be Cr2O7 2 minus. As it is 2 minus, I am putting under group 2. Chromate means CrO4 2 minus. CrO4 2 minus. You can have a valency table like this. Right? So I told sulfate means SO4 2 minus. Not only this, we write a large content. Right? So do you know the difference between nitrite and nitrate? How to write nitrite? How to write nitrate? There's a trend here. Right? There's a trend. See here. When there's, number of oxygens. Number of oxygens. When the number of oxygens is less, and when the number of oxygens is more. When the number of oxygens is less, we say ite. There's a suffix. When the oxygens is more, there's a suffix called ate. Ite ate. So when I'm asking nitrite and nitrate, So I write the two. One is NO2 minus and the other one is NO3 minus. Both are having valency 1. Which one is nitrite? Can you find the point? Which one is nitrite? ITE, according to this category. Yes, very good. Okay, you have well logical answer on that. Yes. So then try more. I need more answers. One answers. I want. So make a live session. Recording answers I want back. So in a live session, you can send your answers and just get some comments from your teachers in an online session, right? Okay, it's very good. When they are giving comments or not giving comments, sometimes they are seeing your name. So when they are saying your name again and again, okay, you also getting confident when they are saying your name. Okay, I am with these concepts very well. There's no evolutions at the beginning, right? Other than the test. So when I'm saying your name, you are giving the first answer. You are the first one to give this answer. Congratulations on your answer, right? Really good. So then try to get more, keep it up. It's a kind of encouragement, right? So the nitrite means NO2 minus, less oxygens. Nitrate means NO3 minus, more oxygens, right? In all levels, if you have mixed up, now you can understand 2 oxygens 8, 3 oxygens 8. Shall I ask another question? SO3, sorry, 2 minus and SO4 2 minus. Which one is sulfite? Sulfite, right? And which one is sulfate? 8, 8. What do you believe out of this? Mangan sulfite powder. Very good, right? Mazar have given the first answer, right? Pasandi, second one, as I received, right? Okay. Yes, Dinal Tivaharan. So then you are giving answers with me, right? So yes, that's right. So that SO3 2 minus, SO3 2 minus is having less oxygens. That's 8. SO4 2 minus, more oxygens. That's 8. Right? So then in A levels we have trends like this to study. Like you are by heart on the sulfide, men the sulfate, right? Now introduce a trend, height 8, height 8. So if you want a note related to that, I can give you 3 notes. Because we are generally discussing, I mean, we are as a regular lesson, I'm discussing this. So this is just an introduction, right? Don't think I have not given the entire text, but I want to emphasize that we have these concepts, right? So you can get some idea about that. That's number of oxygens, right? Height 8. So then let's put out that one. Okay. You can categorize. So I'll keep NO2 minus here and the valency 1 and NO3 minus here and sulfite SO3 2 minus sulfate SO4 2 minus. Okay. What is nitrite? Nitrite is NO2 minus. Nitrate is NO3 minus. I'm asking what is nitrite? Can you give a try? Nitrite. I mean, මේ දෙකේ නම් මම දැන් කිව්වා NO2 minus කියන්නේ nitrite, NO3 minus nitrate. That's not changed. I'm not asking from these two. I'm asking which one is the anion for nitride. Very good. We have received the correct answer. Ivaharam, your answer is correct this moment, right? Yes. Sandani, oh, some name like that. We received that answer. Yes, Sinadi, right? Okay. Your answer is correct. And correct answer name, right? Then you can confirm that your answer is not within that. What about මගේ කියලා දෙන විදිය හොඳේ? හරි? Yes, see. What is this? What is this? What's the name of this? Yes, I know you are telling the name. This calcium oxide. Right? Calcium oxide. Right. So what is the anion of oxygen here? Just sort out the cation and anion from your mind. Calcium group 2, calcium 2 plus. So in oxygen group 6, 8 minus 6 is 2. Valence is 2. Oxygen is an anion. Right? So then, yes, that is O2 minus. I'm writing some large fonts to get it there. Right? So what is the name of this? The mechanism. What is O2 minus? Yes, oxide. So oxygen is in group 6. Valence is 2. So it is called oxide. Then I asked, what is the name of nitride? Oxide finished with De. Oxide, De. Nitride. So the nitride is related with nitrogen. Oxide, nitride, sulfide. Can you understand? The element's anionic version. So then what is nitride? Just give a try. Nitrogen's group number is 5. So it's a non-metal. The valency of nitrogen should be 8 minus 5. It's 3. So what is nitride? Yes. Yes. Then Anita, how try karan? I'm teaching for everyone, right? Not for 2 or 3 students. Right? Just give a try. I'm not trying to give any activation here. Okay? Definitely, okay. You will be suffered when you are thinking about the progress of. If you're active, it's okay. Sometimes so no one knows your answer because you are directly sending the message to me, right? You are sending a direct message to me. So even your name is not visible, I think, as I guess, right? Okay. So definitely you can give you a contribution. That's a good thing. So nitride, as you suggested, there is N3 minus. Is it clear? There are some logics to understand. What is sulfide? Sulfide is in group 6, like oxygen. So we can say calcium oxide and we can say calcium sulfide. So I'm asking, what is the anion of sulfide? How to mention? Yes, Sudha? Very good. Let me. Right? And then keyboard so then there is S2 minus. S2 minus. Right? Okay, good. So now there are some sequences we have to follow when we are getting formula writing part, right? Formula writing part. So now I can add the entire table to your subgroup from our group 3, unit 3. And unit 3 again, add because that is we are discussing that table in detail in unit 3. Okay. There are some species that you don't know. Peroxide disulfide, tetrathionate. Okay. So then cyanide, superoxide, hydrogen peroxide, okay, dihydrogen pentoxide. Like there are some things in A-levels, but this is all level part, right? I want to make that clear. Next question. Fe, what is the name of this? In Sinhala yakada, in English iron, in Latin, what is the name of this? In Latin, yes, very good. Samara had it. Okay. Yes, most of the students give the correct answer. It is not ferrous. Okay. Previous pages we have heard this one as ferrous, not ferrous. Elements are finishing most of the times with um. The Latin term of this is ferrum, um. Then there are two cations of this. There are two cations of this. Fe2 plus and Fe3 plus. These are having different colors, right? Keep remember, there's another thing you have to understand. When your valency, right? When we consider valency, when valency is less and valency is more, what we say? Related to cations, if you have a less valency, you will say S, O, U, S. S. If you have more valency, you will say ik, S, ik, S, ik. Right. So, what is the name of this? Fe2 plus means what? Yes, we are getting the Latin term and adding, removing um or remove add s or us. So that is right. That is remove that is ferrous. This one, yes, ferric. Very good. Okay. I know sometimes you know this thing, but we should confirm it. Right? We should confirm it. So if you want to write a note from these things, you can just get our recording from our coordinator and just listen this again, and then you can just write a short note or any other thing. No need to be hurry about that. Right? At this time, you should be giving you active performance, your answering styles. Right? So then, when we are moving to 2 or 3 weeks, I'll be selecting the top 10 students from this online class, mentioning your town, school, and your name. I'll be giving a good recommendation on your performance, definitely within the first 3 weeks. Right? I'll be giving some exercises which will be capable of you, and you should write them, and then we'll be giving marks. It's an online test, right? Okay. Next thing, copper. Related to copper, we have copper plus and copper 2 plus. Yes, yes, copper plus. What's the name? Copper plus. What's the name? Yes, copperus. No, no copperus. You should get the Latin name. Latin name and add S or US at the end of that, right? With the Latin name and a S. So then what is this? Yes, Cuprous. 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 Right? We are removing and adding S at end. So what about CO2 plus? CO2 plus. Very good. Cupric. Is it there? Cupric. Right. So like you an interesting thing, right? Right? What is this? What means by SN4 plus? SO3. SN4 plus. SN means tin. Right? What is the Latin name? Stannum. Stannum. Have SN2 plus, SN4 plus with the Latin name and addic. Right? So you have to be creative. There are some logics, algorithms you have to understand. Then on the chemistry can minimum algorithms by heart කරන්න නෙවෙයි. Right? By heart කරන්න. So design. Right? There are some points that you have to by heart. I clearly mentioned. But this is not by heart. Realizing, designing, and analyzing. Right? Combine that's a video good level. So then this is stannous. This one stannic. Stannic. So related to this titanium, we have Ti2 plus, Ti4 plus. So what is Ti4 plus? Related to titanium, we have Ti2 plus and Ti4 plus. Right? 2 plus, 4 plus. What is Ti4 plus? Yes. Anything interesting? Yes, Ti4 plus. It's the name of a film, right? Very popular film. So that is Titanic, right? So then when we are writing formulas, we are using this. Exam it's called formula writing. How can I give formula? So he or she should write it in the board. Okay? They are giving marks. Okay? So then they are asking very great formulas. Titanic peroxide disulfate. So then ferric ammonium phosphate. Because they are asking some huge ones related to these ones. They're giving some competitions in schools, right? As a school. Okay. So I think that is interesting. So then no need to worry about the table. Just keep the space for that. And let's discuss some answers for your questions. So then I'm giving answers for these questions. I'm giving all the answers as a marking scheme. But here in the first session, I'll be discussing some random questions, right? So please get the answer for question number 3, right? Question number 7 and question number 9, right? What is the answer for these 3 questions? Please write the answer in your questions book. Already, if you have written the answer, no need to worry, just turn it. Okay, what about this table? I will be adding the valency chart also, I mean advanced level valency chart. to your group, right? So you can get the basics. I'll give 1 minute. Okay, please answer. Only the underlined ones, right? Right, time is enough. Let's discuss. The time is enough, right? So this is your answer. Check your answers. Ammonium hydroxide. Ammonium means, I'm telling in A-level style. Ammonia means NH3. Ammonium means NH4 plus, right? NH4 plus. Hydroxide. What is hydroxide? Anion. OH minus. This is how to write. Valence is 1. Valence is 1. So they will cancel. This is ammonium hydroxide. Is it clear? Then I ask ammonium dichromate. Ammonium dichromate. Right? So then again, ammonium means NH4 plus. Dichromate means Cr2O7. 2 minus. You get this 2 here and you put this 1 here. That is NH4 twice Cr2O7. You can do the other works. I'm just discussing the concept. If you want to realize the basis, just keep remember your science or other paper is a bit difficult, but we don't depend on that. We're giving the basics from the very beginning we are discussing. I don't think you know moles, you know concentration. I'm just explaining to a certain student or you, just that you haven't yet gained any idea about moles or concentration. Right. There is ammonium dichromate. Next one is aluminium hydrogen sulfate. So the hydrogen sulfate means it's same bisulfate. Just another name for bisulfate is hydrogen sulfate. So we have written aluminium hydrogen sulfate. I think right? Aluminium hydrogen sulfate. Aluminium is aluminium 3 plus. If you have in your O levels, you have written if aluminium as Al, that is element. We are writing an ionic compound, so we should write the cation. Keep remember that. Aluminium bisulfate, that is HSO4 minus. Then last one exchange kara. We can ask kara. Right? Remember that we get this 3 here and we put this 1 here. Don't write your answer just at once. You will be getting some mistakes. In order to minimize that, try to follow this. Right? That is Al HSO4, and then you get this 3 here. That is thrice. So that Al HSO4 thrice. Aluminium bisulfite. AlHSO4 thrice. So if you have written your answer like this, really great. Okay, good. So you have taken a good start. Okay. So then sometimes you may think, is this the elements? This is the foundation. This is the beginning, right? So if you know these concepts, definitely you can move through, right? Okay. So then my next two questions here. Can you write the names for this? Okay. Number 3 and then number 6. What are the names for this? Right? English names, terms. Only for this. I think if you have written the others, it's okay. I mean, only for these two. Right, very simple, ne? Sodium carbonate, right? So you know, when we get this compound, NaNO2, we know sodium is in group 1. The group 1 species should have valency 1. Then I explain NO2 means what, right? NO2 is nitride and it is NO2 minus, right? Then how to say this? Sodium, right? Keeping a space here, they're writing nitrite here. What about this? Okay. If you want, you can sort out the cation and anion, right? Here this 2, you can take this 2 to here. That will make beryllium, it's in group 2. You can take this 1 to here. Then can you sort out the cation and anion? That's beryllium 2 plus, and that is HCO3 minus. So what's the name of this? Right? That is beryllium bicarbonate or beryllium hydrogen carbonate. Right? Beryllium hydrogen carbonate. Right. Next, let's start balancing some equations. Okay. So I'll explain the difference between olivers and elements. Now see here. Aluminium reacts with oxygen. What it forms? When aluminium reacts with oxygen, what it forms? When sodium reacts with oxygen, it forms an oxide. It is sodium oxide. Magnesium reacts with oxygen, it forms an oxide, magnesium oxide. Likewise, when metals are reacting with oxygen, they form oxides. So then, aluminium will react with oxygen to form aluminium oxide. Aluminium will react with nitrogen to form aluminium nitride. Nitride never, D never, D. Nitride. Okay. So then what is the formula of aluminium oxide? Just write. Okay. Just write the equation with the formula. Write the equation and balance it. Aluminium oxide here with formula. Yes, we are getting answers. Very good. Was that right? Your answer is correct. Write the equation in your questions book. I'm going to do something strong, something different, right? Yes, we're getting answers. Very good. So write the equation also in your notebook, the questions book. So then, how to write aluminium oxide? Then I know the technique. Number one, techniques ගොඩක් උගන්වයි. හරි. Aluminium 3 plus, oxygen 2 minus. You get this 2 here and put this 3. That is Al2O3. It's simple, again. Technique. Hurry. Now, how to balance this? How to balance this kind of an equation? I'm just trying to move away from your O-level basis now. Right? Then O-level I know how you are balancing this equation in your O-levels. When you look at this 2 and you look at this 3, sometimes you have by heart after 3, 2. What is the common number we can take? 3 and 2, right? 3 and 2 in maths also. 3, 2. We should get a common number for oxygen. That is LCM. What is that? Right? So likewise, they'll say 6. So how you make 6? How you make these 2 oxygens to 6? What is the number you have to multiply? What is the number you have to multiply? 2 into 3, right? That will make 6. And then here 3 oxygens. So in order to make these 3 oxygens to 6, what is the number here you are writing? Because when you are writing a certain number here, from that number, the number of atoms is multiplied, right? So what is the number you are writing here in order to balance oxygens? I mean, if you are willing to get it into 6, that is 2. But in A levels, we don't do like that. Okay. That's a different method. That's your O level method. Right? It's better in O levels. Good. There's no issue with that. Right. I need answers. Right? I need answers. Now I'm going to balance aluminium. Please write the equation first in your notebook by question book also. You will be learning something from this. And then you have to practice it with my other questions. So that now I'm going to balance aluminium first. Right? I'm not balancing oxygen at the beginning. I'm balancing aluminium first. If I'm balancing aluminium first, what should be the number I have to place here? Just give your answer. What should be the number I have to place here? Give your own answer. Very good. Very good. That's 2. I'm putting 2 here. So now aluminium's balanced. So now I can't touch this number because I have made a change. And then from here also I'm considering 1. Because I have considered this species, right? I've considered there's 2 aluminiums. 2 aluminiums means this number should be 1. You know, when there's 2, we have 4 aluminiums, right? So I'm taking the right side as 2 aluminiums. That will emphasize the number is 1 here, right? Now, aluminium is balanced. Now, what we have to balance? We have to balance oxygen. So, in our right side, we have 3 oxygens. I haven't touched one term here. This aluminium, I have considered that. This part I have considered because I have considered this one as 1. But I didn't check this number. See here, when there are 3 oxygens, we should get the right side as 3 oxygens, right? In our right side, we have to have 3 oxygens. So in our left side also, we should have 3 oxygens. So what is the number we have to place here if we are getting 3 oxygens? Just think, if I am putting 3 here, what will happen? Now here 3, if I am putting 3, what will happen? Is it balanced? It's not balanced. Because this side you have 3 oxygens. This side you have 6 oxygens. 6 oxygens. Is it balanced? No. Why? Because this 3 is multiplied from this 2 and it will make 6. How to avoid it? How to avoid it? Can I erase this? Man, no, we can't erase this. Should write. What is the other option? If you want to get number 3, if you have 2 oxygens, 2 oxygens multiplied by which factor in order to get 3? 2 kiyen වැඩි වුණාම 3 වෙන්නේ. So you know here there are 2 oxygens. When we are placing 3, 3 is multiplied by this 2. That will become 6. So for that, in order to avoid that multiplication, what we can amend this number, how to edit this number 3? We can do a small addition to this number 3, not doing a big change. You know 3 is multiplied by 2. So in order to avoid the multiplication, what you do here? Yes, we get correct answers now. So if the other students, you can try really good, right? Don't think make ready dicing of your balance that. No, this is the advanced level technique I'm explaining. We don't try to by heart. We're getting some logics, right? So then here 3 oxygens. In order to take 3 oxygens, if you are putting 3 into 2, it will become 6. So in order to avoid it, we should cancel that multiplication. Now, how to cancel that multiplication? We can divide this 3 by 2. That means we are using a fraction and we are placing this number here. Then you know 3 over 2 means 1.5. So just think 1.5 into 2 is 3. Isn't it? So don't put decimal values. Generally, we don't put decimal values in equations, but we put fractions. Even in market schemes, fractions are there. But when you're finalizing the answer, you should remove the fraction, right? When you're finalizing the answer, you should remove the fraction. Now, the number of oxygens is balanced. I decide. But now, when you're finalizing this, what you should do, you have to remove this denominator 2. How to remove this denominator 2? In order to remove this denominator 2, you have to multiply all the other terms by 2. You have to multiply all the other terms by 2. I mean, this term you are multiplying by 2. I got term 2 element, you know, here into 2. And here also, when you are multiplying this one by 2, what you get? For aluminium plus this 2 and this 2 will cancel. This 2 and this 2 will cancel. 3O2 gives 2 Al2O3. So sometimes you may think, in all of us, we have taken this equation that easily than this. So this is a bit difficult. No, this is not difficult. This is the process. So then when you are reaching the process, you will get a certain time. But if you are mastering this, if you are practicing this, you can just solve the questions very soon, very fast. This is called inspection, right? So then try to do this question using that inspection method. Keep remember, you are not learning all levels, right? Ordinary levels now. This is advanced level, so you should learn something advanced. So then just believe my this lesson, just believe these concepts and write, right? Just try to balance it according to my method. Use fractions to balance, because now I'm going to give a question to check your ability. Right. So here the number was 3. So we are directly writing that number 3. But the 3 is multiplied by this 2. In order to avoid it, we are dividing it by 2. So we can't keep denominators. In order to remove the denominator, we are multiplying all the terms by 2, including this term. And this 2 and this 2 is cancelled. So hands up those you have got an idea about that. It is clear. If I want to explain it again, I can explain it further. Please ask questions. So if you want, you can say, I can't understand that. It's okay. Then I can explain furthermore, but it will take a certain time from your class time. Okay, if you could understand, you could manage, okay, that's okay. But if it is very, very impossible, just send a WhatsApp voice message to me, and I can give some ideas about your questions, right? No issues. You're sending a voice message that is clear, right? Otherwise, when you're typing, in order to understand that real question, it will take a certain time, right? Very good. Thank you for your feedback. Very good. So then you will feel this one bit difficult, but the second one will be fruitful to you. Okay. So then see this. So try to get, solve the second one, right? When I say this, you know, butane, this is available in gas cylinders, liquid petroleum. Try to balance this equation. Combustion of butane, C4H10 with O2. When you are combusting butane, combusting means burning. Carbon with oxygen will form carbon dioxide. Uda, hydrogen with oxygen will form water. First of all, balance carbons, then balance hydrogens. At last, balance oxygen. That's my advice. So definitely you can. And send me the stoichiometric numbers after balance. You can put commas and send stoichiometric numbers only. What is stoichiometric number? This figure you are writing in front. That thing. No need to send the entire equation. So I read it again. C4H10. C4H10. O2. CO2 and water. CO2 and water. If you have balance, raise your hand. Let's see the speed. You can see the fastest fingers first. You can send your stoichiometric ratios also. First balance carbon, then balance hydrogen, finally balance oxygen. Use fraction method. Yes, Yohani, we finished. Very good. You can send your stoichiometric coefficients also. then I can confirm your answer. So definitely you will be getting a fraction for oxygen. Don't remove it, just keep it, it's okay. Until you are getting the fraction, it's okay. Fraction answer ka mata enough, right? Don't need to multiply it and send it. You'll be getting a fractional answer for O2. The left side you have 4 carbons. Right side you should have 4 carbons. You are balancing carbons. In front, carbon dioxide. Here 10 hydrogens. The right side you have to balance hydrogens. In front, water. And then you should get the count of oxygens here. And then you have to put a certain balance here and balance it. Right? Sanisha, with me. We want to get the fraction, right? So then your second answer should be a fraction. I mean, the second stoichiometric number should be a fraction. Right? With me. Then the other students also try really well. So you can see the competition even in an online class because they are trying and they are giving an answer. So you can understand. Right, okay. Very good. Yes, Azam, the other students also, I know you are trying really well. So let's discuss this and then you can get an idea. See here. Actually, I have done these things in my O-levels when I was studying science, right? But nowadays these are not related to your O-levels, I know. Here 4 carbons, you can put here 4 and balance carbons. Here 10 hydrogens, in order to balance hydrogens, we put 10 here. If we put 10 here, what will happen, right? We can't put 10 here, right? Because 10 into 2, it will become 20. 10 into 2, it will become 20. So you have to avoid that multiplication. So you should get only 10 hydrogens. Then as it is multiplying by 2, you are dividing it by 2 and adding it manually, right? So here, you know, when you are placing a value, it is multiplied by 2. So as it is 10 here, you put 5. Then how many oxygens in this side? How many oxygens in this side? In carbon dioxide, in 1 molecule of carbon dioxide, how many oxygens are there? In 1 molecule of carbon dioxide, you have 2 oxygens. So you have 4 molecules of carbon dioxide. In 1 molecule, you have 2 oxygens. So in 4 molecules, you have 8 oxygens, right? I mean, you have 8 oxygens here. Here. So in 1 mole of water, you have 1 in 1 mole of water. Then method number 1, you have 1 oxygen. Water molecule, in 1 water molecule, you have 1 oxygen. So here we have 5 water molecules. So in how many oxygens? There is 5 oxygens. So in the right side, the total number of oxygens is 13. Right? In the right side, the total number of oxygens is 13. Then what is the value we are placing here? If you are placing 13 here, what will happen? Only 13 plus color. So there's only oxygen. If you are placing 13, you know this 13 is multiplied by 2. So you know 13 into 2 is 26. That means in the right side we have 13, in the left side we can't have 26. That's not balanced. So you can't erase this. So then what you do, in order to avoid this multiplication, what is the change you are doing on this number 30? Yes? Can you comment it? A small change we can do. You know this 13 is going to multiply by 2. In order to avoid it, what you do, you are trying to divide this one by 2. 13 divided by 2. That's 6.5. 6.5 into 2 is 30. So then generally we don't write fractions, we don't write decimals, we mention a fraction. Is it clear? Now it is balanced. If you have taken this correct answer, okay, it's really good. The others also you have tried, then do not give up. Then try to get the consensus. Don't think about all level LCMs. Then you will be in trouble. That's what I'm explaining the method for elements. Just write this. If you want to balance it without fractions, you should remove this denominator 2. You can multiply all the other terms by 2. And this 2 and this 2 is also getting sorry. When you multiply this 2 by this 2, it is cancelled. So then what is the balanced equation? In order to remove this 2, you are multiplying all the terms by 2. This 2 is cancelled. 4 into 2 is 8, right? 5 into 2 is 10. 5 into 2 is 10. Right? That's the balanced version. So in A-level chemistry, we are writing formulas, we are balancing equations. You can put the chemistry again, but then debit credit karana, right? So have you got this my answer? Right? My answer question after my explanation, that should be clear because that's my performance, right? Please raise your hands if it's clear. Just write these ones in a separate page and try it once. It'll be correct. I try it. I'll send more equations to your WhatsApp group. So try to balance them. Try to be creative. You can see chemistry is a certain subject which will raise your curiosity. I mean, raise your thinking ability. Definitely it is. Right? Definitely it is. Right? Okay. So I'm going to give another one, but I'm not balancing it now because I'm moving to a moles question. Right? I'll be finishing sharply at 11:30. Right? 11:30. So then I'll be giving another question. Try to balance it at home. Right? But that is not the last question. I'm moving to a moles question also after that. Okay. This one. Magnesium nitrate. Okay, shall I write it in the screen? I'm going to play my screen again. Just give me 1 minute. Right. So I think my screen is visible right here. Okay. So then please write this equation. To balance magnesium nitrate, MgNO3 twice. We will dissociate to give magnesium oxide, NO2 and O2. I have to balance this equation using inspection method. It is better to use the fractions knowledge, right? I mean, fractional simplifications are required. Try to practice from that method. Magnesium nitrate. Okay. So magnesium nitrate gives magnesium oxide, NO2 and O2. Right? Okay. So I'm moving to a question now. So then this is your rank paper, right? This is your rank paper. So I would like to discuss question number 4 here. Question number 4 here, right? I think already you have done, and this is a very familiar question to you because this is your 2021 O-level question. Yes, can you remember it? Okay. This was your 2021 O-level question. So then, I think definitely you can see it. Okay. So then, what is the answer? I've already done it. Right. So in our question discussions, we are giving some time questions like this. Now we can see in your screen there's a timer. Can you see? So I have given 1 minute to do the question. So please use the time and get the answer. Question number 4. Please send your answer number. I've received answers from Senisha. Your answer is correct. Metmi, your answer is correct. Sinad, your answer is correct. Yes, Dinal, your answer is correct. Present, your answer is correct. I think it's really simple. So this is how we are giving timed questions in an online session, right? You can see the timing. Yes, time is over. Right. what is the number of carbon dioxide molecules in 22 grams of carbon dioxide? So now I'll explain the concept of this. I'm not using n equal to simple n over capital N. That equation. I know you have learned that equation in your O levels. That equation is based on the column method. Now see the concept. If you consider carbon dioxide or any other species, there's a relationship between three pillars: moles, mass, and number of molecules, right? Or sometimes atoms. So related to carbon dioxide, we have to discuss about molecules. Related to carbon dioxide, we have discussed about molecules. Yes, Puda. What means by 1 mole? 1 mole means related to mass. What is 1 mole? What you have learned? 1 mole related to mass. What's the concept? For each and every species, you should consider if it's an atom, equal number of grams to its relative atomic mass. Again, in 1 mole of sodium, you have 23 grams of sodium. Atom එකකට ගන්න relative atomic mass. For a molecule, we get relative molecular mass. Is it clear? I mean, 1 mole corresponds with relative atomic mass for an atom, but carbon dioxide is a molecule, so we have tried the relative molecular mass. When you consider the quantity called 1 mole, there's how many grams of carbon dioxide? Yes, please send the answer. How many grams of carbon dioxide? So that is equivalent to relative molecular mass of carbon dioxide. You know, carbon is 12, oxygen is 16 into 2. They'll be giving the data. So then 1 mole corresponds with 44 grams of carbon. 44 grams of carbon dioxide. Then 1 mole corresponds with how many molecules? So related to carbon dioxide, we can't say how many atoms, because carbon dioxide is a molecule. But if you get sodium, I can ask how many atoms in 1 mole of sodium. How many atoms in 1 mole of carbon dioxide? That's how the question should be asked. Right? You know, when we're asking it with respect to a molecule or an atom, in 1 mole, what should be the amount? What is that amount? That is Avogadro's constant. Samara type kala tena ගොඩක් හොඳයි. That is Avogadro's constant. It is called L. අපි symbol එකට කියනවා L කියලා. So what is that value? 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. How many zeros I have tried after 6.022? How many zeros I have tried? Zeros of how many zeros? 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 means how many zeros I have tried after 6.022? 23. Is it the scientific notation? Yes, just think how many zeros, right? So we should write zeros, right? We should write 20 zeros, 20 zeros, right? Then here to here we get 20, 21, 22, 23. That's called 6.022 into 10 to the power 20. Right? 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 means that. Well, සමහර students හිතනවා මේ Avogadro number එක කියන්නේ ගොඩක් small value. සමහර හිතනවා negative value. Very small value. But atom එකක් small නෑ. 1 mole. Inside 1 mole, you have a very huge amount of molecules. This much. Can you believe this thing? This much of rupees you have, right? So then there is definitely a huge value. That is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 molecules, right? So then in 1 mole, you have 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. Just get this value as L, right? In 1 mole. Shall I ask an IQ question? You know, in 1 mole, we have 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 molecules of CO2. If I'm asking, in 1 mole, how many atoms when you consider CO2? In 1 mole. It's an IQ question, right? Samara answer කියලා දෙන්න. මේගොල්ලෝ නම් කියන්න. මේක L කියලා හිතන්න. මේක type කරන්න මහසි. බෝල් වැඩක් නෙමෙයි. L. If you want to just get expression with it. What is my question? 1 mole of carbon dioxide means how many atoms? And the expression is enough. Right? So you know the concepts. Some other concepts then. So that we know. So you have to think here. Okay? In one molecule of carbon dioxide, right? One molecule of carbon dioxide, how many atoms are there? My question. In one molecule of carbon dioxide, how many atoms are there? 3 atoms. In one molecule of carbon dioxide, we have 3 atoms. Meaning 1, 2, 3. In one molecule of water, we have 3 atoms. Right? What's my question? In 1 mole of carbon dioxide, how many atoms? So then, can you think? This basic thinking ability is required in science. Even you are having it or not having it, you should develop it. Sometimes you don't accept my thing, but you will feel it, right? In 1 mole, we have Avogadro number of molecules. We know 1 molecule, there are 3 atoms. So in 1 mole, how many atoms? In this calculator, this is a scientific calculator. Right? So if we consider 10 buttons, so if we consider there's 100 buttons available in 1 mole, just think this is the Avogadro's number, right? In one of this, if we have like Avogadro number of atoms, can you see? Avogadro number of buttons, just think. In 1 mole of this, sorry, you know, in 1 mole we have Avogadro number of, mix up here. In 1 mole we have Avogadro number of electrons, protons, atoms. Electrons, protons, atoms, or buttons. 1 mole can 1 mole of people got the Avogadro amount. So in 1 mole of buttons means this. So in this calculator, if you have 10 buttons, just think in 1 mole of this, how many buttons are there? In this calculator, if you have 10 buttons, in 1 mole of these calculators, how many buttons are there? Right? So just think like this. I think buttons 10 buttons. You know, 1 mole means this much of calculators. 1 mole of calculators means this much of calculators. Buttons 10. In 1 mole of calculators, you have 10 into the number of calculators which is available in 1 mole. Avogadro's number. So likewise, in 1 mole, if you have Avogadro number of molecules, if you know in 1 molecule you have 3 atoms, what you can do, you can multiply 3 by the number of molecules which is available in 1 mole. So your answer should be 3L. 3L. 3 into Avogadro's number will give the total number of atoms in 1 mole of CO. Right? But in this question, they're asking, right? They're asking in 22 grams of carbon dioxide. So then I'll be writing 22 grams of carbon dioxide. They're asking how many molecules? So when we are doing a calculation question, we are basing on 3 pillars. We are basing on 2 pillars out of this, right? You can see molecules, moles, mass. So my question is, for this question, what are the 2 columns I have to use? For this question, what are the 2 columns I have to use? Can you just tell me? The data is 22 grams. In 22 grams of carbon dioxide, they are asking the number of molecules. So I'm telling, for this calculation, I only get 2 columns. Column 1, column 2, column 3. What are the 2 columns I'm considering? I'm considering a column method. Not your all n equal to simple n over capital N. I know that is easy, but I want to give the exact theory behind this, not substituting an equation. That is very simple, right? Yes, you are giving correct answers. There's no relationship with moles now. Moles or not, because they are not asking about moles. They're getting the relationship considering moles, right? They're getting the relationship considering moles, but we don't require. So then what are the two columns? Molecules and atoms. Let's erase this. Let's erase this, right? Just connect like this. So 44 grams means this much of molecules. 22 grams means how many molecules? Is it clear? What do you have to do? What do you have to do? It's a mathematical operation. Just think pence and price. So then 3 pence, the price is 40 rupees. 3 pence, the price is 40 rupees. If we have 8 pence, what is the price? It's a direct proportion. How to find? So ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ මේ පොඩි මලිලා නංගිලාට උනත් මේවා කියලා දෙනකොට අර discount, okay, advantages, I mean discount percentages. In those questions, it is very simple. For 3 pence, if the rupees price is 40, so for 8 pence, what is the price? These are called direct proportions. In order to get an answer like that, first of all, place to the columns. I'm going to method introduce කරලා දෙන්න. Then, when you are getting the answer, just multiply the two terms crosswords that you know. දන්න දෙන්න හරස් විතර වැඩි කරන්න. What are the two terms? Just get cross multiplication. This. So what are the two terms you are multiplying here? I mean, මං අහන්නේ මේ pence පොඩි price. Pence price. 3 pence 40 rupees, 8 pence, what is the price? How to find it? You should multiply the two terms crosswords that you know. And then you have to divide from the remaining. What is the expression? Expression එක So what are the two terms? 3 into this, you don't know. You can't multiply that. Multiply the two terms that you know, crosswords. So then what is that? I'm giving a method. 40 into 8 divide by the remaining, right? 40 into 8 divide by the rest. Is it clear? That would give the direct answer. So in A levels also we use column method very, very nicely, right? So 44 grams means if it is this much of molecules, they're asking molecules. 22 grams means how many molecules? Can you send the expression? Multiply the two terms crosswords, divide from remaining. Yes? Make L කියලා හිතා. What's the expression? Can you send me an expression soon? L කියලා ගන්න Avogadro's number. Multiply the two terms crosswords and divide from the remaining. You multiply this one from this, and then you are dividing from the remaining one. That is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 into 44 divided by 22. That's it. Sorry. This into 22 divided by 44. Right? This into this divided by this. Right? So then that answer that they have mentioned in answer number 1. So you have given answer number 1. That's correct. So can you see the column method that we are using? 1 mole of carbon dioxide means how to use 1 mole, 44 grams, and Avogadro number of atoms. How many Avogadro number of molecules? How many atoms? Avogadro number into 3. So in like A-level chemistry, we base like this. Like basing the concepts like this, we are doing. So you have learned some interesting terms today. Formula writing, balancing equations, that fractional method, and this cross multiplication method. I'm not just directly based on your O-levels. I have added something to your O-level knowledge. Right? So if you feel better, you can just continue our class furthermore. So then I'm responsible for you. And if you are willing to attend only one chemistry class, just select this one. You will be getting a good result. You will be moving to a good rank. I can just guarantee it, but you have to feel it. Right? Just read the comments from our students. I know you can ask one of the teachers about me if you want to confirm. But if you're doing a biology, you can attend 2 classes for physics, as my experience. If you're doing combined maths, it is better to attend 2 classes for combined maths, not chemistry. Combined maths කරන්නට අමාරු වෙන්නේ combined maths, bio කරන්නට අමාරු වෙන්නේ physics. Chemistry අමාරු වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Right. So then අමාරු කියවට බය වෙන්න එපා. Work really hard. Everything will be okay. Right. So then wishing you all the very best for your A-level journey. It will start from here. So thank you for being with us for this much of time. And then it's getting late, it's getting dark. So then we are going to finish the session. So then if you feel this is better, try to invite your friends as a support to me. right? As a support to me යාළුවන්ටත් කියන්න මේ ක්ලාස් එක චුට්ටක් ගිහලා බලන්න හොඳ නම් යන්න නැත්නම් ඉන්න කියලා. හරි. මේ payments ගැන coordinatorත් එක්ක කතා කරන්නේ. මේ payments ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. මොනවා හරි payments වල ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා නම් financial issue එකක් directly මට කියන්න. I'll call you and confirm and then I'll make some arrangement. Financial barriers education එකට issue එකක් කරගන්න එපා. Right? Just learn really well. That will be the final thing that will remain in you in your life and after your life also. Right? Okay, thank you very much. Good night. Wishing you all the best.